Chapter 4688. Those from Z Mansion narrowed their eyes. Damn it, aren't you afraid of the Z Mansion's revenge? However, Su Lai Huolinger and the rest attacked. So what if the Z Mansion was strong? Could it be compared to an exalted immortal? Those people couldn't resist at all and were killed instantly. You guys are in charge of cleaning up the battlefield. Lin Xian ordered and then grabbed Ruashi and disappeared. Two figures appeared in the Great Sage Pagoda. Ruashi was terrified. Damn it, what are you trying to do? I'm the successor of the Z Mansion. If you touch me, the Z Mansion won't let you go. To be honest, he was terrified because he felt that Lin Xian was a devil. His methods were too terrifying. There were so many people from the Z Mansion and he killed them without mercy. If she fell into his hands, she would be in a terrible state. Kill you? What a pity. Lin Xian shook his head. You have other uses. Ruashi was scared. Damn it, is he trying to kill me? Lin Xian sneered. I'll suppress you first. You'll be useful in the future. He didn't control them because he knew that there were restrictions in their minds. Especially these successors, their restrictions were even more terrifying. If he controlled them, he might alert the Z Mansion. He used the Taiji diagram to seal them and the dragon-shaped sword chi to lock their cultivation. With this, Lin Xian wouldn't be afraid of them escaping. When he came out, the people outside came over. Huolinger took the storage rings and said, Exalted Immortal, these are the storage rings of these people. Lin Xian nodded and took out half of the storage rings and said, You guys can divide these. Thank you, Exalted Immortal. Huolinger and the rest were happy and quickly divided the storage rings. Lin Xian didn't care about this. He still had a use for these people. Hence, it was necessary to rope them in properly. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and left quickly with his people. He was looking forward to the next day when those geniuses arrived. What would it be like? Morning. The sun rose and Taiching Ancient City became lively. Today was the day of the Z Mansion's successor. Fairy Ruashi was holding a martial arts competition. Many people had received invitations and were preparing to go. Golden Crow Hao rode on a war chariot and streaked across the sky like a sun god of war. Today, not only was he going to participate in the martial arts tournament, but he was also going to take down his opponent in one fell swoop. These people had already heard about the methods of the Z Mansion from their family elders. That was the Violet Palace realm. The reason why these fairies were allowed to get close to them was because of the treasures they had. And they didn't refuse. That was because they also wanted to use this method to conquer the people of the Purple Mansion. To be able to obtain the inheritance of the Purple Palace Hall, this was a contest and no one would back down. On the other side, Evil Spirit had arrived as well. He had the same thoughts as well. Other than him, Yunfei, Xingtiance and the others were also here. After all, they had always attached great importance to the Purple Palace. These people arrived at the manor and waited quietly outside. In the distance, more and more people arrived. They were all discussing in the surroundings. Who would have thought that with so many geniuses here, only a few would be able to enter? Some people sighed. However, being able to see so many geniuses was enough to make them excited. Jianghu Hao frowned slightly and looked at the time as he spoke. What time was it? Why wasn't it open yet? Are they trying to intimidate us? Evil Spirit snorted. Isn't the Purple Palace realm a little too much? The other geniuses also frowned. Although the Purple Palace realm was mysterious, their status wasn't low either. What was the meaning of turning them away now? Let's wait a little longer. Yunfei waved his fan and said indifferently. Everyone waited a little longer. When noon came, their faces darkened. This is too much. Golden Crow Hao let out a cold snort and strode over. He descended from the sky. He landed inside. People of the Purple Palace realm, don't go too far. However, in the next moment he roared. What? How is this possible? What happened? The people outside were shocked. Evil Spirit turned into a few streaks of black lightning and rushed over. Xingtiance and the others arrived one after another, and the others also entered. When they saw the scene inside, they were all stunned. There was obviously a huge battle in front, and the people of the Purple Palace realm were all dead. Their souls were destroyed and there were no signs of life. Everyone gasped and their scalps went numb. The people of the Purple Palace realm were all killed. Who did it? They finally understood that the Purple Palace realm wasn't trying to intimidate them. They couldn't even come out to welcome them. What about Fairy Ruashi? Was she also dead? Everyone was shocked. That was one of the successors of the Purple Palace realm. They searched the entire mansion one after another. They couldn't find any trace of the person. Could it be that the person's soul was destroyed? Everyone was shocked. This was an earth-shattering event. The Purple Palace realm was reactivated, and it was obviously going to return to its peak. But now, one of its mansions was destroyed. This was obviously a slap to the face of the Purple Palace realm. More importantly, one of the successors of the Purple Palace realm was still missing. The Purple Palace realm would definitely be furious. When that time came, there would be a huge storm. Everyone knew that the people of the Purple Palace realm would arrive soon. The others were also discussing spiritedly. Who exactly was it? At this moment, a few chariots flew over and stopped in the sky. Countless gazes fell from the sky. One of them said, "What's going on? Was the Purple Palace realm destroyed? I still want to participate?" Another person said, "It seemed that the Purple Palace realm wasn't that great. It was destroyed so easily. What a piece of trash." The people in the chariots were talking and laughing. The people below were all stunned. God, who is this person? How dare he mock the Purple Palace realm? Does he want to die? Who are you? How dare you be so presumptuous here? Jianghu Hao looked up at the sky and shouted coldly. A sneer came from the sky. A mere demonic beast dares to be arrogant in front of us? You're courting death. Jianghu Hao was furious. He was indeed a demonic beast, but he was a golden crow. How terrifying was his bloodline. He was a divine beast. How dare the other party look down on him? Courting death. Jianghu Hao reached out a big golden hand and grabbed the chariot above. I want to see who's courting death. An earth-shattering sound came, and the void beside the chariot kept shattering. It couldn't bear it at all. Jianghu Hao had successfully broken through to the middle stage of the Saint King realm. Compared to before, his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. Thus, this palm strike was truly terrifying. A cold snort came from the chariot. What's there to be arrogant about? Then a big flaming palm came down with a biting cold aura. It collided with the golden palm. The fire of the sun and the terrifying flames kept colliding, tearing the sky apart. Then it blocked the golden palm. Countless people were shocked. Did it block it? Even Jianghu Hao was surprised that the other party could block his attack. It really surprised him. His face darkened. Go to hell. Chapter 4689. Boom. Inside the war chariot, Huolinger was enraged. What did a mere golden crow have to be so arrogant? She shouted coldly. Fire God's finger. With a finger, it was as if the fire god had descended, bringing with it a monstrous power. The two clashed and were evenly matched again. A sneer came from above. He looked arrogant, but his strength was only so. You don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. Damn it. Golden Crow How gritted his teeth. The other party was really strong. The others were also shocked. Evil Spirit walked out and asked with a frown. Who are you guys? Who are you? If you want to know who we are, tell us where you came from. Evil Spirit said proudly. Serene Cloud Sect Evil Spirit. Golden Crow Clan Golden Crow How. Sacred Heavens Clan Sheng Tiansu. Myriad Transformation Sect Yun Fei. 4 figures walked out one after another, their loud voices resounding through the heavens. Countless people looked up at them. They were the top experts and geniuses. The people in the sky snorted coldly. Then a figure walked out. It was a man wearing the longevity battle armor, looking mighty and extraordinary. He walked out and said proudly, Longevity Sect Su Lai. Beside him, another figure walked out. He looked like a peerless fire god. Fire God Palace, Huolinger. Some people were puzzled. Longevity Sect and Fire God Palace? They had never heard of them. However, some of the experts and people of the older generation cried out in alarm. They were not from Taiching Ancient City, but the Eternal Mountain region. They were also a peerless sect, not weaker than the Serene Cloud Sect. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they heard that. In other words, these people were not weaker than Evil Spirit and Yun Fei. No wonder they were so arrogant. This was not the end. After these two people, another person appeared. Furthermore, he appeared out of thin air. What a terrifying void energy. Everyone was shocked. Could it be? The figure looked down and said proudly, Ghoulie of the Gu clan. The crowd was in an uproar. This time, Golden Crow How, Evil Spirit, and the others could not remain calm. The Gu clan. This was a clan of the ancients. More importantly, the Gu clan was an emperor clan. They had a great emperor and had an extreme Dao Wu. Their strength was comparable to the Yi clan. Was the Gu clan's genius here? They could feel the pressure. The surrounding people were even more stunned. Too valiant. This lineup seemed to surpass Jianghu Hao and the others. Now, do you still have the qualifications to be arrogant in front of us? Ghoulie asked coldly. Below, Jianghu Hao and the others gritted their teeth. His expression was ice cold. The people from the Gu family were indeed strong enough. However, if they were to really fight, the three of you can't beat the four of us. They had the advantage of numbers. Everyone was a top-notch prodigy. A single advantage in numbers was enough to change the entire battlefield. The atmosphere between the two sides continued to clash, causing cracks to appear in the void. This was especially true for Taiching Ancient City, where geniuses were constantly coming over. Some of them didn't plan to participate in the martial arts tournament, but because the Purple Mansion Manor was destroyed, they were unable to participate in the tournament. Such a big event also aroused their curiosity and shock. They all rushed over. For example, the Light Folk, the Wind Folk, and even Leaf Dao Denier were all present. They looked at the three experts in the sky in surprise. Did another peerless sect come? There were even desolate ancient emperor clans that came. It was just too inconceivable. These people guessed that the destruction of the Purple Mansion had something to do with these mysterious experts. Did it matter? We now suspect that the Z Mansion's matter is related to you, Jianghu Hao asked. He still wanted to conquer Ruashi, but now that she had fallen, his wish was in vain. He could only look for another target, which made him very unhappy. In the sky, Su Lai snorted coldly and frowned. Are you doubting us? The evil spirit said, so what if I'm questioning you? There were many geniuses on their side and they all represented Taiching Ancient City. Those people were from Mount Eternal. The two sides belonged to two different regions. They even wanted to compete with each other. The people in the ancient city were also discussing. Although the three of them were powerful, they couldn't be arrogant in Taiching Ancient City. Guli sneered. Are you bullying us because we have fewer people? He waved his hand and said coldly, come out. Everyone was surprised. Is there anyone else? Soon they were dumbfounded. More people came out from the chariots in the sky. There were 50 figures standing between heaven and earth. Each of them was a top-notch expert. So many experts. It was really too shocking. Why are so many of you here? What's the matter? Qing Tianzi frowned. Taiching Ancient City was mysterious, so why couldn't we come and experience it? Hua Ling snorted. We came here with some exalted immortal. Do you have a problem with that? Exalted immortal? The people below all frowned. Was there anyone else on the other side? The evil spirit snorted. Who dares to call themselves an exalted immortal? Are you looking for death? I think you're the one who's looking for death. Gu Li snorted and pointed his finger in the air, charging towards the evil spirit. The evil spirit slashed out with his sword. An earth-shattering energy burst out, sweeping across the 9 heavens. Everyone was nervous. They wouldn't start a war just because of a disagreement, right? It seemed like it was possible. There might even be an unparalleled war. All right, stop it for now. Lin Xian's voice came from the chariot. Gu Li, Su Lai, and the others stopped and said respectfully, yes, exalted immortal. Countless people were shocked. What kind of person was sitting in the chariot? He could make so many geniuses treat him with respect. Could he be a great sage? Below, Jianghu Hao and the others also took a deep breath. If it was a great sage, they couldn't fight against him. However, the other party shouldn't think of bullying them. Each of their clans had a great sage, and there was more than one. At this moment, a voice came from the chariot above. The exalted immortal they are talking about is me. Do you have a problem with that? As the voice fell, a figure walked out. Countless people looked up. Are there really immortals in this world? When they saw the figure, their pupils shrank and they were dumbfounded. Damn kid, it's you? Jianghu Hao and the others were even more dumbfounded. They couldn't believe it. They realized that they knew the person in front of them. It was Lin Xian. How could it be? He's not dead yet? Some people exclaimed. Qing Tianzi frowned. Yunfei and the others were shocked. They couldn't believe it. Didn't this guy die in the heavenly court? Wasn't he buried in the bronze coffin? How did he come out? How dare you talk to an exalted immortal like this? Hua Ling snorted. Su Lai also stood out and said, why aren't you kowtowing to an exalted immortal? Kneel to him? What? Are you idiots? Who told you that he's an exalted immortal? He's just an ordinary ant. Jianghu Hao sneered. Wuxia also snorted. Kid, I didn't expect you to still be alive and pretending to be an exalted immortal. You really don't know what's good for you. You're the ones who don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian sneered. Whoever goes down and brings me their heads, I'll teach them immortal techniques. As soon as he said that, the eyes of the top geniuses lit up. Let's go. Su Lai and Hua Ling stood out first. How could they miss such a good opportunity? Chapter 4690. The battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, a few rays of light streaked over from afar, accompanied by a cold roar. Who is it? How dare you attack the Purple Mansion? Everyone was shocked. The Purple Mansion experts had arrived. In the next moment, the sky was torn open and the Purple Mansion experts arrived. When they saw the people in the mansion being killed, they roared. The void of the 9 heavens kept shattering. Who is it? They had gone crazy. The Purple Mansion had been reborn, and this time it was their descendant. The martial arts competition was held. But now, they were all dead. They didn't even know if their descendant was dead or alive. This was a slap to their faces. The people of the Z government suspected that the remote antiquity clans had joined hands with them. They were acting in secret. Otherwise, no one else would have such strength. I suspect that it's that kid. Jianghu walked out and pointed at the sky. The Purple Mansion experts looked up. Is there anyone suspicious? When they saw the figure in the sky, they were also stunned. It's you? He's not dead. They were shocked. Why is Lin Xian here? Evil Spirit sneered. Not only that, he had brought 50 top geniuses with him. That was an extremely terrifying force, enough to destroy everything. Maybe they were the ones who destroyed the Purple Mansion. When the Purple Mansion experts heard this, their faces turned ugly. Indeed, there were countless fighters around Lin Xian. If all of them were to attack together, they could really destroy the mansion. A middle-aged man stood out and shouted coldly. Kid, is that you? Lin Xian looked calm and didn't reply. Su Lai shouted coldly. How dare you question the exalted immortals? Do you want to die? The Purple Mansion experts went crazy. Exalted immortals? Damn it, only the Purple Mansion experts had immortals. Since when did this kid have such an identity? Another Purple Mansion expert said, Old Jiang, they are very suspicious. I suggest that we suppress them and search their souls. Yes, that's right. The Purple Mansion experts nodded. Jianghu also smiled. If you need help, I'm happy to help. Men, capture that kid. The Purple Mansion elders waved their hands and the surrounding people rushed forward. Their auras exploded. How dare you? Su Lai, Huolinger, and the others also arrived in the sky. The two sides faced each other and the atmosphere became more and more tense. At this time, Jianghu jumped out and said, Kid, do you only dare to hide behind others? Do you dare to come out and fight? Right now, I can suppress you with one hand. Now that Jianghu had made a breakthrough in his cultivation, his strength was much stronger than before. An earth-shaking change had taken place. Therefore, he had enough confidence. Lin Xian looked down and said indifferently, Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. He took large strides in the air and walked down. Was the final battle about to begin? Everyone was shocked. This Lin Xian was also a top genius. This battle would be very interesting to watch. Some people were excited. There were also people who sneered. Are you stupid? That was in the past. Jianghu had already reached the middle stage of the Saint King realm. His strength was terrifying. I estimate that one move will be enough to end this battle. That's right, that kid is dead for sure. How could he be a match for the geniuses of our Golden Crow clan? The people from the Golden Crow clan also snorted coldly. On the other side, Su Lai, Huoling and the others didn't care at all. How could these mortals understand the strength of an exalted immortal? Exalted immortal, kill him. Yes, exalted immortal, kill him in an instant. Let's see who will kill who in an instant. Jianghu walked out. A terrifying light bloomed from his body. He looked at Lin Xian and said with a smile, I'll give you a chance to make the first move. He didn't sense any terrifying aura from Lin Xian's body. Let me make the first move? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian nodded. He had also broken through and reached the middle stage of the Saint King realm. His strength had become stronger than before. The other party was simply courting death by asking him to make the first move. Are you ready? Lin Xian asked indifferently. Jianghu snorted coldly. I don't need to prepare to deal with you. You can't even break through my defense. The surrounding people sneered. They indeed thought so. No one could sense Lin Xian's aura. Lin Xian indeed didn't have any aura on his body, but the moment he made his move, it suddenly exploded. A golden palm slammed forward. Heaven and earth collapsed. With a boom, Jianghu was sent flying. Countless cracks appeared on his body. Half of his body turned into a bloody mist. Shocking. Everyone went crazy. They couldn't believe it. Impossible. The people of Jianghu roared crazily. There was a difference of one realm between them. How could the other party break through their defense? He was really pitifully weak. He was just a beast. What right did he have to be arrogant in front of an exalted immortal? Su Lai, Huolinger, and the others sneered when they saw this scene. They had infinite confidence in Lin Xian. Xingtiansu, Wuxia, and the others narrowed their eyes. This kid's strength had increased too. It seemed that he had also broken through. Damn it, he had hidden his strength so well. They thought that they were the only ones who had broken through. They didn't expect that the other party had also broken through. Damn it, what kind of fortune did he obtain after being locked in the ancient bronze coffin? In the distance, a figure roared in the ruins. The bloody mist that filled the sky condensed again. Jianghu Hao charged over with a ferocious expression. Damn kid, how dare you injure me? I'm going to kill you. Lin Xian said indifferently. You're no match for me. Jianghu Hao was furious. No one had ever dared to underestimate him. Especially after his strength had broken through. I didn't expect you to break through too. I was careless before. Now I won't give you another chance. I'm going to kill you with my own hands. Endless great Tao began to condense on Jianghu Hao's body, forming a huge long saber. The divine sun saber. It was extremely terrifying. The entire void kept shattering. On the other side, Lin Xian's face darkened. He opened and closed his hands. There was a terrifying crack that was condensing. It was the great desolate sky-splitting palm. Everyone exclaimed. Both of them were using peerless superpowers. It seemed that they were going to go all out. When the surrounding people saw this, they all retreated. Go to hell. Look at my divine sun saber. Jianghu Hao's long saber fell and locked onto Lin Xian. The long saber was like a giant sun dragon descending. Everywhere it passed, the void kept shattering. There was nothing that could withstand it. It couldn't even recover. Facing the terrifying divine sun saber, Lin Xian's eyes shone with golden light. The great desolate sky-splitting hand. With a wave of his hands, a frightening surge of energy surged forward. It was the Purple Mansion Realm's secret technique. Countless people exclaimed. The people from the Purple Mansion Realm snorted. They had only obtained it for a short time. They couldn't unleash its true power. However, when they felt the aura, their faces changed. How could it be? They realized that the great desolate sky-splitting hand that Lin Xian had used, it was even more terrifying than the older generation experts. Chapter 4691. Boom. Boom. The void kept shattering like a painting. Cracks appeared on the surface of the solar divine blade, and it suddenly split open. The cracks spread towards Jianghu Hao. Jianghu Hao retreated. His body was pierced through. He was covered in blood. He couldn't believe it. He lost again in the battle of peerless skills. He couldn't withstand a single blow. This was Lin Xian's evaluation of him. The surrounding people were stunned. Did Jianghu Hao lose? In just 2 moves he had been utterly defeated. It was unbelievable. Xing Tianxi, Guang Ming and the others frowned. To be honest, even if they wanted to fight Jianghu Hao, they wouldn't be able to defeat him so easily. After all, Jianghu Hao was a top genius. But now he was defeated by Lin Xian. What kind of heaven-defying opportunity did this guy get? The facial expressions of the people from the Z government were extremely grave. An elder of Zifu was stunned. He waved his hand and a black lotus bloomed on his fingertip. That black lotus quickly rushed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face changed. He shouted and a dragon-shaped sword chi flew out and destroyed the lotus. He stared at Zifu and said coldly, "Do you want to die?" The black lotus broke and turned into a petal that scattered between heaven and earth. The elder of Zifu narrowed his eyes. "You're the one who was sealed. Are you the one who was abandoned by the immortals? The one who was abandoned by the immortals?" What did that mean? Countless people were confused. Soon they understood that he was abandoned by the heavens. He had no future. Nonsense. We're immortals. We're immortals. Wu Ling Er and Su Lai snorted. Zifu dared to slander the immortals. Do you want to die? 50 top geniuses. They emitted a cold aura. The middle-aged man kept shaking his head. This was impossible. If he was really abandoned by the immortals, he couldn't have reached the Saint King realm. He was taken by the bronze coffin. Is he from the immortal graveyard? So you're from the immortal graveyard. You deserve to die more than the abandoned immortals. The heavens will bury you personally. You won't survive. The people of Zifu sneered. The others were also in an uproar. There were a few older generation experts who said, "Someone from the immortal burial ground?" This was the stuff of legends. There would never be a future. Some people looked at Lin Xian, shook their heads and sighed. This brat's current strength was so strong that he could defeat Jianghu Hao in 2 moves. His future was limitless. He might even be a young Grand Emperor, but he ended up in the tomb. It would be as difficult as ascending the heavens for him to take another step forward in the future. What people from the immortal tomb? Wu Ling Er and the others sneered in disbelief. However, at this moment, a black lotus appeared in his purple palace. A terrifying power swept towards Lin Xian. Today the people of the immortal graveyard will completely destroy you. You're interested? Wulinger roared. Su Lai, Gu Guli and the others also roared in anger. Even Leaf Dao Denier stood up. Zifu, don't go too far. This is a battle between the younger generation. Are you going to use all of your strength? Then I don't mind telling the family to use the extreme Dao Wu. If you offend the exalted immortal, the Gu clan will also take action. Guli roared crazily. Countless people were shocked. They didn't expect that the two monarch clans would stand on Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian looked up at the sky. His nerves were incomparably solemn. Was the red spider lily going to seal him again? He felt that this time the power of the red spider lily was too terrifying. It was probably the totem of the purple palace. In the distance, on a fiery red cloud, the red phoenix looked at this scene and said, "Master, save him." The great sage looked at this scene and sighed. Was he really from the immortal graveyard? In ancient history there were two people from the immortal graveyard. Their talent was terrifying, but in the end they couldn't advance. In fact, their fates were very miserable. Lin Xian now showed heaven-defying talent, but his luck seemed to be too bad. He sighed and wanted to help. Since it was his disciple's request, he should save this young man. At this moment Lin Xian shouted coldly. "What heavenly Tao? Do you represent the heavens?" He roared, and the dragon sword soul split the sky and earth. At this moment the 9 heavens and 10 earths shook. The red spider lily in the sky kept falling, wanting to seal him completely. Yi Wu Dao roared, "Do you really want me to use my extreme Dao Wu?" Gu Li also shouted coldly, "Are you challenging the Gu family?" Under the threat of the two ancient monarch clans, the red spider lily in the purple palace finally disappeared. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, at this moment there was red thunder in the sky. This was a heavenly tribulation. Was he going to transcend the tribulation? No, it wasn't a heavenly tribulation. It was a heavenly punishment that was even more powerful than a heavenly tribulation. Golden Crowha looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. Although he was defeated, he was incomparably happy at this moment. Once the heavenly punishment appeared, no one could save him. The heavens were punishing him. Everyone's scalps went numb. The heavenly punishment represented that the heavens and earth could not tolerate it. Was this kid really from the immortal graveyard? This time even Su Lai Huolinger and the other geniuses were stunned. They had always thought that Lin Xian was an immortal, but at this moment, their hearts were shaken. They had all heard of the legend of the heavenly punishment. It represented the power of the heavens and earth. Boom! Red thunder fell, directly piercing through the heavens and earth. "Leave quickly." Everyone fled. The heavenly punishment had the power of destruction. No one could do anything. In the distance Dan Feng's eyes were red. "Master, hurry up and help." However, the great sage sighed. If the heavenly punishment had not appeared, it would have been fine. Now that the heavenly punishment had appeared, even if he did not do anything, he would attract it. Everything in front of him was instantly drowned, turning into red cracks with a destructive aura. The people of the Purple Palace sneered. They could represent the heavenly Tao. Golden Crowha was even more ecstatic. "Kid, so what if you're powerful? You're still going to die." Evil Spirit and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. It was great that a peerless enemy had fallen just like that. However, Yi Wu Dao and the others frowned. Su Lai Huolinger and the others were extremely nervous. Had they really been deceived before? There was a black-robed man in the crowd, his eyes flickering. Black Mountain looked at this scene and sighed. It seemed that he had to make a move. His palms were already forming a seal. At this moment he was surprised and a biting cold light appeared in his eyes. This was interesting. He released his hands from the seal. Black Mountain did not attack. Lin Xian once again felt the danger of destruction. The heavenly punishment's power was unparalleled. Even if he used the Great Sage Pagoda, he would not be able to escape. However, this was not the first time he had faced the heavenly punishment, so he had a way to deal with it. His body swayed and the mysterious small sword appeared in his body. Lin Xian entered the Sword Dao world. With his current strength, it was easy for him to enter the Sword Dao world. He could even walk a distance of 500 meters. This Sword Dao world was incomparably mysterious. It was completely possible to avoid the heavenly punishment. After Lin Xian entered, he could no longer feel the threat of destruction. He waited for the destructive power outside to disappear before going out. Chapter 4692. The divine punishment gradually disappeared, and everyone gathered again. They looked forward and sneered. That kid is dead, right? His soul must have been destroyed. This is what happens when you go against the Purple Mansion. The people of the Purple Mansion snorted coldly. Golden Crowhow laughed smugly. No matter how strong he was still dead. Su Lai and the others were shocked. Had they been deceived? The other party really wasn't an immortal. Was he just an ordinary person? They couldn't accept it. At that moment, a faint voice sounded. What are you so happy about? Everyone stopped laughing as if the god of death had grabbed their necks. They suddenly turned around. In the distance a figure walked over. How was that possible? Golden Crowhow's hair stood on end. The expressions of the people of the Purple Mansion also changed drastically. The others were even more stunned. Lin Xian was still alive. He didn't die. That's great, Yu Wudao. Red Phoenix heaved a sigh of relief. The great sage was even more shocked. How was that possible? Could anyone withstand the power of divine punishment? As the great sage, he didn't dare to imagine it. The eyes of Hualing Su Lai Gu Li and the others shone brightly. Immortal, that was an immortal. Only immortals could be fearless of divine punishment. It seemed that what they had done before was right. The other party was really an immortal. Impossible, how could you still be alive? Golden Crowhow roared crazily. The people of the Purple Mansion were also stunned. They had never seen such a situation before. Hualinger walked out and sneered. What do you know? Supreme immortals are people of the immortal world. Do you think your divine punishment can punish them? Su Lai also sneered. So what if he was an immortal? They cheered and gathered around Lin Xian again. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Show me what else you have. If not, I'm going to make a move. His eyes were filled with killing intent. It wasn't the first time these people had tried to trick him. Today someone had to fall. He stared at the people of the Purple Mansion, then looked at Golden Crowhow. Golden Crowhow's scalp went numb. He crushed a token in his hand. He was really frightened now. He had to summon the powerhouses of his family. The people of the Purple Mansion were also secretly mobilizing experts. At the same time, he gritted his teeth and said, no matter what, it doesn't change the fact that you are from the immortal tomb. This time, I don't know what method you used to avoid it. But in the future, you are destined to be buried between heaven and earth. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The great desolate sky-rending palm attacked the people from the Z government sect. The Z Mansion's people roared as they fought back. As a result, they were forced to retreat. The other party was too strong. Lin Xian turned to look at Jianghu Hao and said, you were very happy when you thought I was dead. He pointed his finger out. The phantoms of dragons and elephants roared between heaven and earth. Their terrifying power crushed the heavens. Golden Crowhow retreated in terror. The others were shocked as well. Especially the people from the Purple Mansion, they were all stunned. How could the other party use such a method? Could it be that he was their successor? Was he really killed by the other party? Damn it. The sun shines in the sky. Jianghu Hao felt an immense threat. He knew that he was no match for him. Therefore he did not dare to be careless. The Golden Crow bloodline in his body burned rapidly, turning into a peerless sun. Is shown in the 9 heavens. At this moment heaven and earth seemed to have melted. Everyone felt as if they were boiling. The phantoms of dragons and elephants were also ignited and burned continuously. They gradually grew bigger, but they did not disappear. The remaining forces quickly charged over. With a boom, the sun in the sky cracked. Jianghu Hao vomited blood and was sent flying. He was seriously injured again and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. He could not even block a single attack from the other party. Hualinger sneered when she saw this scene. The other party kept saying that the exalted immortal was from the immortal graveyard. If he has no future, then what are you guys? An ant among ants. Everyone's face turned ugly. After knowing that the other party was from the immortal graveyard, they were happy. They thought that they had lost a peerless enemy. But now it seemed that the gap between them and the other party was too big. So what if the other party had no future? No one was a match for this guy now. Lin Xian looked at the evil spirit again and sneered. What? Do you think that in front of me? Do you have the right to be arrogant? As he spoke, he pointed out the dragon elephant finger again. The evil spirit roared and attacked with a shocking sword, but it was useless. His heart was pierced through by the finger. His body cracked again. Damn it! He roared crazily. Lin Xian looked at Xingtiansu. Xingtiansu fought against the evil spirit, but one of his arms was torn to pieces. He frantically retreated. Lin Xian looked up to the sky and laughed. What right do you have to say that I have no future? I have fought my way through all kinds of battles and have seen all kinds of experts. You want to bury me with a mere Purple Mansion sect and a mere Hurricane Lily? That was impossible. Lin Xian roared and attacked fiercely. The great desolate sky-splitting hand and the dragon elephant finger attacked the people from the Purple Mansion sect. The young man from the Purple Mansion sect could not resist at all and his body was instantly shattered. The elders who fought against him were also shaken to the point that their blood was boiling. Lin Xian was too strong. At this moment he was like a peerless god of war. No one could stop him. Let's kill him together. We must kill him. The eyes of the people from the Purple Mansion sect turned red. The people from the Golden Crow clan and the Serene Cloud sect also roared. Such a person would be a peerless enemy if they kept him alive. They would not allow him to exist. Boom, boom, boom. Countless golden figures descended from the sky. They were like golden gods of war. They suppressed a part of the world. Golden Crow How was overjoyed when he saw this scene. Great, the elders of the Golden Crow clan had come. On the other side, the experts of the Serene Cloud sect had also arrived. Their auras were extremely strong and they sealed off a part of the world. After they arrived they shouted coldly, "Kid, die." A late-stage Saint King Elder walked over and slapped Lin Xian with his palm. Lin Xian roared and attacked with the dragon elephant finger. With a cracking sound, the late Saint King Elder's arm was shattered and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. His face was filled with fear. The others were also stunned. This kid was too strong. A late Saint King Elder was not his opponent at all. This person could not be left alive. A peak Saint King Elder walked out. Not only the Golden Crow clan, but also the Purple Mansion sect and the Serene Cloud sect. There were also experts flashing in other places. It was obvious that they were all watching the battle. This time this kid was going to die for sure, right? Boom. The peak Saint King Elder of the Serene Cloud sect casually attacked. Endless tyrannical power transformed into a blade light that descended from the sky. It carried a gloomy and cold aura that could destroy everything. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. Great desolate heaven-splitting palm. Everyone was shocked. No way this guy wanted to fight against a peak Saint King Elder? The young genius's pupils also shrank. The opponent was too arrogant. The peak Saint King Elder snorted and increased his power. A sound that shook the heavens rang out. Lin Xian took 2 steps back. On the other side, the peak Saint King Elder's arm was also numb. He could not believe it. His attack was actually blocked by the opponent. Chapter 4693. Kill. Lin Xian roared angrily, the Tai Chi diagram slashed over, spinning between heaven and earth, killing towards the Yuyun sect expert. That expert roared angrily, "You are courting death." He rushed over, fighting a great battle. Endless black storms appeared behind him, turning into chains, covering heaven and earth as they rushed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, the Tai Chi diagram spinning between heaven and earth, blocking these chains. At the same time, endless sword chi rushed out from his body, waving his hands. The immemorial demon mountain descended from the sky. The surrounding space was constantly shattering, those chains were also suppressed. Insignificant skill. The peak Saint King of the Yuyun sect snorted coldly, bringing with him an unparalleled power, charging towards the immemorial demon mountain. The immemorial demon mountain kept shaking, but it did not shatter. That power even caused the Yuyun sect elder to spit out a mouthful of blood. Lin Xian stood on top of the immemorial demon mountain looking down at the other party. "Now you still say that I am insignificant? I think you are the one who is overestimating yourself." Everyone was shocked. Even a peak Saint King elder could not take down the other party. This kid was too heaven-defying. Everyone attacked together. The peak Saint King of the Golden Crow tribe rushed over. There were 2 of them. On the other side, another 2 came from the Yuyun sect. 4 peak Saint Kings attacked the other party together. Not good. This time Yi Wudao, Dan Feng and the others exclaimed, "Such a terrifying lineup, the other party could not contend at all." High Immortal. This time Hualing, Su Lai and the others were also nervous. Although Lin Xian was called High Immortal by them, it was said that the other party was injured, and his cultivation was only at Saint King. Could he contend against 4 peak Saint Kings? Lin Xian stood there without dodging. He could feel a terrifying power coming from all directions, sealing off the entire heaven and earth. It seemed that the other party was preventing him from escaping. Would he escape? With a cold shout, with a wave of his hand, a black jar flew out from his storage ring. Releasing a terrifying devouring light, "Go die." The 4 peak Saint Kings released their peerless abilities, annihilating everything in front of them. Boom. This time it was finally over. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. He wasn't dead. The pupils of the Violet Palace Realm cultivator constricted as a shocking light burst out from his eyes. Eye of martial arts, they saw through everything and discovered that Lin Xian was not dead. How was this possible? The others were also stupefied. An expert tore apart the void, discovering that 4 vortexes had appeared in front of him, completely swallowing the exceptional divine abilities. What was that whirlpool? Like I said, you can't stop me. Obediently become my stepping stone, Lin Xian said in a cold voice. He held the black jar in his hand and looked down like a demon god. Everyone's gaze landed on the black can. Cries of surprise rang out one after another. What was that? What a powerful weapon. Damn it, he actually had such a thing. The pupils of the Z government shrank. In the next moment they seemed to have thought of something. Some of the older generation cultivators cried out in alarm. The heaven-swallowing jar. How could you have such a thing? What was the heaven-devouring jar? The young prodigy was puzzled. The faces of the elders of the remote antiquity families also changed. Could it be one of those legendary things? Damn it, he actually obtained such a treasure. It was a divine artifact of the heavenly court. It was said that it could swallow the heavens and the earth. It was even rumored to be an imperial weapon. What? Countless people's eyes turned red. They stared at the black can in disbelief. In the distant void, Heishan looked at this scene and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. It seems that this kid has obtained a fortune. I'm relieved. Lin Xian was also surprised. Was this black can called the heaven-devouring jar? It was also the first time he knew about it. After all, no one had told him. What surprised him even more was the origin of this can. It was an extreme Dao Wu. Gee, that's impossible. Lin Xian was puzzled. In front of him, Golden Crowhow also roared, Elder, you must be mistaken. Extreme Dao Wu. Even the great sage might not be able to use it. What kind of power would that require? How could a little Saint King like him use the extreme Dao Wu? Gee. Xingtiansu, Guangming and the others nodded. Yu Wudao also frowned. Their family had the extreme Dao Wu. They naturally knew how much power it required to use it once. A Saint King couldn't use it at all. Only if the other party had a boundless amount of power would it be possible. But just now they didn't see this scene at all. Elder Zhang of the Purple Mansion gritted his teeth. Qi was indeed terrifying, but there were exceptions. For example, the heaven-devouring jar was an exception. The heaven-devouring jar was very mysterious. It was said that the material used to make it was very special, so other people could use it without a great emperor. It was just that the power was different. A Saint King had the power of a Saint King, and a great sage had the power of a great sage. Once a great emperor used it or obtained enough power, it would display the power of the extreme Dao. What kind of material was it? How could it be so strange? The elder of the Purple Mansion gritted his teeth. It was said that it was made from the corpse of a great emperor. It was a living Wu. Gee, no way. Countless people were dumbfounded. Even Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. Was this the corpse of a great emperor alive? He was stunned. Doesn't that mean that after we kill him, we can use it after we get it? Evil Spirit, Jin Wuhao and the others' eyes turned red. Everyone's gaze fell on Lin Xian. How heaven-defying was a treasure that could be controlled by a great emperor? In the distance, Danfeng's face changed. Not good. How could young Master Lin be so careless as to take this out? The great sage sighed. Perhaps he didn't know the origin of this thing. Lin Xian indeed didn't know before. Now that he knew, he didn't regret it. So what if he was targeted by these people? Even if he didn't have the heaven-devouring jar, these people wouldn't let him go. Since that was the case, why should he hide it? Kill. 3 more peak Saint Kings appeared in the surroundings. Their auras were unparalleled, suppressing the heaven and earth. Even if they had the heaven-devouring jar, they weren't invincible. They didn't believe that they could fight against 7 peak great sage. Terrifying auras shook the heaven and earth. Once again, everyone was worried for Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. Do you think you have more people? He formed a hand seal and the demonic beast pouch flew out. A few figures came out from it. One of them was the 3-eyed vermilion bird and the other was the purple qilin. The purple qilin had already recovered from its injuries. After all, Lin Xian had obtained countless treasures. The 2 peak demonic beasts came out and roared into the sky. Everyone's face turned ugly. This guy could control demonic beasts, especially the purple qilin. It had only escaped after being surrounded by several peak Saint Kings. His strength was unparalleled. Damn it, this guy has so many trump cards. We can't waste any more time. Let's kill him quickly. Everyone was filled with murderous intent. Lin Xian was too heaven-defying. They couldn't let him live. The 7 Peak Saint Kings rushed over and fought with him. The purple Qilin roared and attacked 3 of them. The 3-eyed vermilion bird also attacked 2 of them. As for the remaining 2, Lin Xian faced them head-on without any fear. Although he was only a mid-level Saint King, 2 levels lower than them. Chapter 4694. The heaven-swallowing jar shot out a jet-black light. A terrifying vortex swallowed the 9 heavens. The 2 Peak Saint Kings felt that their qi, blood, and souls were about to be swallowed away. They roared angrily, cutting off the void. Following that, each person struck out a palm. Wrath of the Netherworld. The serene cloud sect Saint King roared. Black laws swept out continuously. Heaven burning palm. On the other side, the Golden Crow race powerhouse erupted with a power that could burn heaven and earth. The 2 charged towards Lin Xian together. Lin Xian roared. He did not dare to be careless in the slightest. He displayed the 9 yang divine physique to the extreme. Like a golden war god, endless sword chi swept out at the same time. The Tai Chi diagram also flew out. Human ruler seal, mountain embracing seal, dragon elephant finger, great desolate heaven splitting hand. All kinds of ultimate arts flew out. Coupled with the heaven swallowing jar, he actually did not fall into a disadvantage in the battle with the 2 Peak Saint Kings. The 2 Peak Saint Kings both went crazy. Damn it, this brat's strength was equivalent to a Peak Saint King. Coupled with that heaven-swallowing jar, blocking the 2 of them was no problem at all. As for the other few Peak Saint Kings, they were held back by the 2 Peak Saint Beasts. It was difficult to split up for a while. Could it be that 7 people could not take down the other party? The people watching the battle from afar were even more shocked. This kind of person was too incredible. The faces of the people from the Purple Mansion were cold. A Peak Saint King from the Purple Mansion merged into the void and quickly charged over. In an instant he arrived behind Lin Xian. Go to hell. When the 3 Peak Saint Kings arrived, Lin Xian suffered a huge threat. Boom. This person also used the dragon elephant finger, charging towards his heart. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. The great sage pagoda summoned, blocking this attack. With a clang, he was shaken until his qi and blood were in turmoil. He spat out a mouthful of blood. At the same time he turned around. You're courting death. The great dragon sword soul was summoned by him, a sword slashing over. The Peak Saint King still wanted to block, but under this sword he was split into 2 halves. His body and soul were destroyed. One move instantly killing a Peak Saint King. Everyone was stunned. Even the other Peak Stage Holy Kings also felt their hair stand on end. What kind of method was this? The people from the Purple Ministry couldn't believe that their opponent hadn't used the sky-swallowing jar. Instead he used another sword shadow. What was that? Was it not weaker than the heaven-swallowing jar? The people from the Z government stared at him with bloodshot eyes. Suddenly they roared. Could it be the legendary Great Dragon Sword? You are the successor of the Great Dragon Sword. The Great Dragon Sword was one of the 5 swords under the heavens. Even though it's not the best, but it was said to be an offensive saint art, and it was extremely powerful. This brat even had the Great Dragon Sword. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He didn't explain and once again brandished his Great Dragon Sword to attack. With one sword, the elder of the Tranquil Cloud sect was split into 2. At the same time, he activated the heaven-devouring demonic pot with all his might. The Golden Crow tribe's Peak Holy King roared crazily and tried to defend himself. But in the end he was still devoured. Blood flew out from the heaven-devouring devil pot and turned into a bloody mist. He was dead. In the blink of an eye, the 3 Peak Stage Saint Kings on Lin Xian's side had all fallen. The strength of his battle prowess made people terrified. Lin Xian was like a demon god looking down on the 8 wastelands. He stared at Golden Crow Hao and walked towards him. Golden Crow Hao was so frightened that he almost knelt on the ground. Old Jiang, save me. He kept asking for help. The people of the Golden Crow tribe all rushed forward. Brad, do you want to die? Lin Xian used the heaven-swallowing jar to open a path. The terrifying devouring vortex made these people's souls about to collapse. They were terrified. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. In addition, there was a demon show beside him, the Void Beast. It was simply like a ghost appearing out of nowhere. With the Void Beast, it was as if he had comprehended a void absolute art. He instantly arrived in front of Golden Crow Hao. Dragon Elephant finger pointed out, and Golden Crow Hao's body shattered. With a roar, a golden pagoda flew out from Golden Crow Hao's body. It protected his bloodline and soul. Thank you for activating the treasure in my body. Golden Crow Hao roared towards the sky. Brat, do you think you are the only one who has a powerful trump card? I have one too. The golden pagoda shone brightly, and a terrifying aura spread out. Countless people were shocked. The great sage was a treasure placed in Golden Crowhow's body. It was used to protect his life. Now Golden Crowhow's life was threatened. The great sage flew out automatically. The golden pagoda floated between heaven and earth. Golden Crowhow sneered. It shattered the void, and a terrifying power enveloped the area. Its power had already surpassed that of a sage king. Lin Xian used the heaven-swallowing jar to block the surrounding attacks of the Golden Crow tribe. At this moment he only had the great dragon sword soul left. With a sneer, the great dragon sword soul turned into a true dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it circled the area. It instantly enveloped the golden pagoda. The two of them fought against each other. Lin Xian sneered. Without the great sage, what else do you have? He walked over in large strides. Golden Crowhow's expression changed drastically. He didn't expect his trump card to be controlled so easily. Boom. Lin Xian attacked forcefully. The black and white energies condensed into a Tai Chi diagram and flew out. Golden Crowhow roared. He used many of the Golden Crow tribe's ultimate techniques. Heaven-burning palm. Divine flames danced in the sky, enveloping the Tai Chi diagram. However, Lin Xian attacked. His 9-yang divine body swept across the sea of flames. He wasn't injured at all. Human ruler seal. Golden Crowhow retreated. Great desolate sky-splitting palm. Golden Crowhow's legs turned into a bloody mist. Dragon elephant finger. Golden Crowhow's head shattered. In front of Lin Xian's powerful attack, Golden Crowhow didn't have any strength to fight back. The others were terrified. Was this really a young man? Too fierce. Damn brat, how dare you kill him? The Golden Crow tribe's experts roared crazily. Their eyes were red. However, the heaven-swallowing jar created millions of vortexes and blocked their path. Lin Xian said coldly. Why wouldn't I dare? Your Golden Crow tribe has tried to kill me time and time again? Especially this Golden Crowhow, he's jumping around in front of me, making me very annoyed. I feel that there's no need for him to live anymore. As he spoke, Lin Xian slapped him again. The primordial demon mountain descended from the sky. Golden Crowhow's body that had just condensed shattered again. Damn it. Golden Crowhow's bloodline burned and summoned the ancestor's phantom. The phantom of the ancient Golden Crow appeared in his bloodline. It carried an ancient aura and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A mere phantom, watch how I destroy it. The heavenly secret divine eyes shone brightly and the power of reincarnation erupted. Something that shouldn't exist, go to reincarnation. The Golden Crow phantom let out a terrified roar and was directly reincarnated away. What other tricks do you have? Use them all. Lin Xian looked at him and said indifferently. Golden Crowhow was really desperate. He realized that no matter what ultimate technique he used, even his bloodline ability was useless. The other party was invincible. Spare my life. He gritted his teeth and said, I promise that I will never be your enemy again. Lin Xian sneered, what did you say? Can't I hear you? Golden Crowhow roared loudly, please spare me. Everyone was shocked. Such an arrogant person was actually begging for mercy. Lin Xian laughed and knelt down to beg me. Golden Crowhow knelt down. Lin Xian sneered, I haven't finished speaking yet. Even if you kneel down and beg me, I won't spare you. Go to hell. He threw a punch over. Golden Crowhow went crazy. He didn't even want his face anymore just to live. The other party didn't want to let him live. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. He pounced over crazily. However, how could he be a match for him? The Taiji diagram condensed again and slapped the other party away. In the heavenly secret divine eyes, the terrifying heavenly secret diagram rotated. Lock, spring and autumn. Chapter 4695. Golden Crowhow died in the midst of endless despair. Everyone's scalps went numb as the Golden Crow clan members roared. Their eyes were bleeding, unable to bear it. Kill you. Our clan's great sage will definitely descend and kill you. Facing such a threat, Lin Xian did not care at all. He turned and stared at another figure. Wuxia. This person had attacked him more than once. Today he would send him to hell. Wuxia's scalp went numb. He was stronger than Golden Crowhow, but not by much. Now that Golden Crowhow was dead, he was definitely not a match. He quickly retreated. The elders of the Serene Cloud sect surrounded him and shouted coldly. Kid, you have already offended the Golden Crow clan. Do you still want to be enemies with us? Lin Xian snorted, if I don't kill you, will you let me go? The Serene Cloud sect members' faces turned ugly. They would definitely not let him go. Since that was the case, there was nothing left to say. Lin Xian punched out, transforming into a fire dragon that spiraled between heaven and earth. The Serene Cloud sect members could feel their laws being suppressed. Protect Wuxia. With an order, countless elders surrounded Wuxia. This was their top genius. They could not allow him to die. At the same time, they looked around and said, "Are you still not going to attack? Are you going to let this kid continue to be arrogant? Everyone, let's kill him together." The others furrowed their brows tightly. In truth, Lin Xian was a huge threat to them. Some people's eyes flickered as they soared into the sky, wanting to join forces. Lin Xian snorted, "Let's see who dares. Those who attacked me today, I will not let a single one of them off. In the future, I will destroy their entire clan." These words stunned many people and also made many people want to kill him. The Purple Mansion people stood out and said, "Today you will die without a doubt." The Golden Crow clan members also roared. They would not hold back either. The Holy Heavens clan frowned. The Light clan and Wind clan's eyes flickered. They did not attack immediately. However, they did not leave. "Ling, Sulai, the two of you attack. Restrain these people for me. Today I will sacrifice him to the heavens." Lin Xian glanced at the evil spirit. Linger, Sulai, and more than 50 other top geniuses began to move. A portion of them charged towards the Golden Crow clan, while the other portion charged towards the Tranquil Cloud sect in Zifu. Lin Xian recalled the heaven-swallowing jar and submitted to him. Following which, he struck out at the evil spirit. At the same time, he secretly urged the Void Beast to move stealthily and lay in ambush beside the other party. A great battle broke out in an instant. Those people's eyes were red. After killing this brat, countless people rushed forward. Lin Xian took out the Great Annihilation Spear and used it as a battle sword, sweeping it in all directions. The heaven-devouring jar floated on the other side. The great dragon sword spirit was accumulating power in his body, waiting to be unleashed. Like a demon god, he strode forward in large strides. "Go to hell." He unleashed a terrifying sword chi and charged forward. Instantly, more than 10 people at the front were turned into a bloody mist. Damn it! Those peak elders were furious and rushed over. The heaven-devouring jar bloomed, and a terrifying light devoured the terrifying power. The three-eyed vermilion bird and the purple Qilin charged over from both sides, slapping those peak Saint Kings until their blood boiled. But this time there were too many people who wanted to kill Lin Xian. A Saint King from the Zifu rushed out, turning into a blood-red lightning bolt. "Blood demon, great technique." He roared and formed a seal with his palms. Endless bloody light appeared on his body, turning into thousands of doppelgangers that charged towards Lin Xian. This was also a peak Saint King who had mastered an ancient secret technique. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian laughed loudly. The Great Annihilation Spear continued to attack. The Great Sage Pagoda bloomed with light around him, blocking the terrifying sea of blood. With one strike, the terrifying demonic chi pierced through thousands of blood-red figures. That peak Saint King was shocked. Damn it, he stared at the Great Annihilation Spear. This was also a terrifying saint weapon. Buzz. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly turned his head to look at the Golden Crow clan. The soul fire in his eyes floated out. More than a dozen Golden Crow expert souls were ignited, roaring crazily between heaven and earth. Then, the Taiji diagram spun and split the few people from the Yuyun sect into two. Lin Xian fought a bloody battle on his own. "Kid, you're too arrogant. This is not a place where you can behave atrociously. I don't believe that your strength is limitless." 10 peak Saint King experts pressed over, enveloping heaven and earth. Facing the 10 experts, Lin Xian was not afraid. He once again took out the great dragon sword. Then he took out a few storage rings and crushed them. The power inside was all given to the great dragon sword. With a slash of the sword, it swept across all directions. Boom, boom, boom. The 10 peak Saint Kings retreated. 3 of them were instantly destroyed. The other 5 also vomited blood and flew backwards. Only a few were intact. Their faces were pale. "Damn it. Use the Great Sage artifact." One after another, angry roars sounded. Was the other party the only one with a trump card? They also had one. The Zifu side took out a battle sword and pointed it at the southern sky. The terrifying battle sword bloomed with a terrifying light. It was also a Great Sage artifact. It was used by these people at the same time. Its power was terrifying. Lin Xian used the Great Sage Pagoda to block. His blood and qi rolled. He vomited blood. It had to be said that these people really had a lot of trump cards. The Golden Crow clan also used the Great Sage artifact. It was the golden sacred pagoda that descended from the sky. Lin Xin once again felt a great pressure. He summoned the heaven-swallowing jar back. It blocked the terrifying power. The Serene Cloud sect took out an evil sword. It was incomparably black, like the eyes of an evil god, and rushed over. At this moment, Lin Xian's soul was violently attacked. He opened the Tianji divine eyes. A pair of divine eyes looked down on all directions. The Great Destruction Spear was used to the extreme. Terrifying demonic chi surged like a mountain to resist. Lin Xian alone fought against 3 Great Sage artifacts. The power in his body was quickly consumed. Among them, the Great Dragon Sword Spirit used the power of the storage ring, while the Destruction and Heaven-Swallowing Jar were his own power. Boom. After one attack, Lin Xian retreated. The people of the 3 sects were also pale. They were all using the Great Sage artifacts, but it was also very strenuous. After all, they were not the real Great Sage. But they had the advantage in numbers. Great, that brat definitely had no power left. He could not withstand a second attack. Everyone attacked again. The elders of the Purple Mansion sect shouted. The others also regained hope in their eyes. This was indeed a good time to kill the other party. Lin Xian's face was cold. He took out a jade disc again and a lot of essence blood appeared from it. These were the power formed from the corpses of the experts that he refined with the hand of fortune. At this moment he took them all out. He attacked the Serene Cloud sect. The people of the Serene Cloud sect felt their scalps go numb. The power of this sword had sent their evil swords flying. They flew into the distance. Endless cracks appeared on the arms of the sword-wielding elders. Damn it, too strong. Where did the other party get so much power? At this moment, the Golden Crow clan and Purple Mansion sect experts carried 2 Great Sage artifacts and attacked. Chapter 4696. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian's figure disappeared in an instant. At the same time, the Void Beast and the Evil Spirit also disappeared. The attacks of the 2 Peak Sage Kings struck the void, causing it to split open. However, their expressions became incomparably ugly. The people of the Serene Cloud sect were even more frenzied. Damn it, where's the Evil Spirit? They were in charge of protecting him, but they realized that the Evil Spirit had disappeared. Not good, it's a spatial ability. The people of the Serene Cloud sect were in a frenzy. They looked at the people of the Purple Mansion and quickly said, "Fellow Taoists, quickly use your martial Dao Heavenly Eye to help us investigate. We will be eternally grateful." An expert of the Purple Mansion released a terrifying light in his eyes as he used his martial Dao Heavenly Eye. This was a powerful eye technique. Found it? That person snorted coldly as he struck out with his palm. The void shattered as it spread into the distance. In the distant void, a pagoda floated up and down. It was that kid's defensive ability. Everyone rushed over. Inside the Great Sage Pagoda, the evil spirit's face turned ugly. He did not expect that under such protection the other party could still catch him. Damn it. He fought back like a madman. He knew that begging for mercy was useless. However, how could he be Lin Xian's opponent? Lin Xian easily suppressed him, shattering all the bones in his body. At this moment, the Great Sage Pagoda shook violently. Lin Xian's face changed. The evil spirit gritted his teeth and said, "Let me go or you will die." Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Great Sage Pagoda gradually faded as he looked around. The people around also saw him and they all gritted their teeth and roared. "Kid, let him go." The elder of the Serene Cloud sect roared. "Otherwise I will tear you to pieces." Lin Xian sneered. Let him go? It was impossible. He grabbed hold of the evil spirit and used the hand of fortune, causing the blood in the evil spirit's body to boil. Finally, it melted and formed a drop of essence blood. The people of the Serene Cloud sect wanted to die. Not only had the other party killed the evil spirit, he had even refined the evil spirit. What kind of method was this? This is the result of trying to kill me. Lin Xian's gaze swept across the land. Everyone felt their scalps go numb, especially those young geniuses who kept retreating. In the blink of an eye, 2 top geniuses had fallen. This fellow was simply unscrupulous in his actions. Nothing could make him afraid. "And you are too arrogant." A cold voice sounded between heaven and earth, accompanied by the aura of the great sage. Countless people felt fear and prostrated themselves on the ground. The people of the Golden Crow race cried out in excitement. "Ancestor, the ancestor has come." Not good, did the great sage descend? Leaf Dao Denier's expression turned unsightly. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He moved quickly, using the void beast to travel through space. The place where he had been standing was completely enveloped by a palm, turning into nothingness. Following that, a group of middle-aged men flew over, flames burning on their bodies. It was the great sage of the Golden Crow race. Ancestor, you are here. Quickly capture him. Golden Crow How had already been killed by him. The elders of the Golden Crow race kept on shouting. Tear him into pieces. Ancestor, he has treasures in his hands and more than one. We must capture him. Voices sounded out. The eyes of the great sage of the Golden Crow race burst out with a biting cold light. Did he have treasures, and it seemed to be an extreme Dao Wu? Qi, and a heaven-defying Wu like the great dragon sword. Qi, he was really too happy. Taking advantage of the fact that he was the only great sage, he had to make a move quickly. You can't run. His gaze pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He punched the great sage pagoda. The great sage pagoda was sent flying. Lin Xian's qi and blood were in turmoil, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his body. Damn it. The great sage. It was not something that a peak holy king could compare to. A peak holy king could not open the great sage pagoda, but the great sage could transmit its power over. Dodging was not a solution. He had to take the initiative to attack. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by the great sage pagoda. At the same time, the heaven-swallowing jar floated up and down. The great dragon sword soul was also taken out by him again. It was indeed a good thing. When he saw the heaven-swallowing jar and the great dragon sword soul, the Golden Crow great sage's eyes burst out with a biting cold light. You don't deserve to have such things. His palm grabbed over again like a peerless sharp claw. Lin Xian used the heaven-swallowing jar to absorb the power on it and block it at the same time. A sonorous sound rang out. The dragon-shaped sword shadow blocked the other party's palm. The palm directly grabbed the dragon-shaped sword shadow and let out a rumbling sound as if it wanted to snatch it away. Lin Xian felt a huge threat. He shouted angrily. Another 2 storage rings cracked open, and the energy inside was given to the great dragon sword soul. The great dragon sword soul roared and exploded with power. The Golden Crow great sage loosened his palm, and even a few of his fingers were cut off. He retracted his hand and his face turned completely cold. He was actually injured. Despicable ant, you have thoroughly angered me. Extremely cold killing intent burst out from his eyes. At the same time, a great sage also walked out from the Serene Cloud sect. 2 great sage came out from the Purple Mansion. 4 great sage circled between the heavens and the earth. Lin Xian's face turned ugly. He could still fight against 1, but 4 great sage was really too terrifying. This time this kid would definitely not be able to escape. Everyone gritted their teeth. Yi Wudao saw this scene and walked out. He is my friend. If the great sage touches him, it is the same as touching me. My Yi family will not agree. My Gu family is the same. Gu Li also said coldly. Our Eternal Life Hall and Fire God Palace are the same. Wu Ling'er and Su Lai also walked out. These people were all top geniuses and represented different sects and families. Among them there were 2 emperor clans that shocked everyone. However, the 4 great sages' expressions were cold, especially the great sage from the Purple Mansion, who said coldly, "With just you guys? You can't save him unless the real great sage of your family comes. Or else. Today no one can save him. Is that so? Try touching him." A cold voice sounded, making everyone's scalp tingle. Who is it, pretending to be mysterious? Get out here. The great sage of the Serene Cloud sect roared. A voice sounded between the heavens and the earth. I am from the heavenly court. If you touch him, you will become the enemy of the heavenly court. Countless people were terrified. Did the heavenly court's people come out again? It was that black-robed man. He took the sky lantern and did not leave the ancient city. Countless people exclaimed. The great sage of the Golden Crow and the great sage of the Serene Cloud sect also had ugly expressions. Naturally, they had heard of this person before. After all, he had killed 2 great sages. The great sage of the Purple Mansion snorted coldly, hiding the head and showing the tail. You don't even dare to come out. What qualifications do you have to threaten us? Come out if you have the guts. The 2 of them emitted a biting cold killing intent. One of their companions had died at the hands of this person. This kid is related to the heavenly court. We will definitely not let him go. Chapter 4697. The great sage of alchemy fire took a deep breath. His figure appeared between heaven and earth. Everyone's scalps went numb. The 5th great sage of alchemy fire was here too? Which family was he from? That was the great sage of alchemy fire. He said loudly, "Young Master Lin is an honored guest of Alchemy Cauldron Sect. If you want to touch him, you'll be making an enemy out of Alchemy Cauldron Sect." Everyone was in an uproar. They didn't expect him to help Lin Xian again. And this time a great sage of alchemy fire walked out. The great sage of Golden Crow looked at the great sage of alchemy fire. "Alchemy Cauldron Sect, do you want to be wiped out? You can try." The great sage of alchemy fire snorted coldly. Monstrous flames appeared on his body. Those were green flames. They were abnormally terrifying. Everyone felt like their bodies were about to melt. The great sage of Golden Crow frowned. "Are you challenging me?" He shouted angrily and turned into a peerless sun. However, he didn't make a move immediately. That was because the great sage of alchemy fire was extremely unusual. He was one of the giants of Alchemy Cauldron Sect. He had been a great sage for thousands of years. His strength was unfathomable. More importantly, he was a top-notch alchemist. In fact, there were even some great sages who needed his help. His identity was very special. "You can't take him away with you." The great sage of Purple Mansion shouted angrily. "We have 4 people on our side." "Yes, that's right." A few others walked over as well and they surrounded Lin Xian together. Everyone sighed. Even if the Heavenly Court and Alchemy Cauldron Sect intervened, they still couldn't save him? Pill Flame Great Saint shouted coldly. He didn't know what was good for him. He reached out and grabbed the 4 people. The 4 snorted. "How dare you!" They all attacked. In an instant the 4 people were pushed back. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Their faces were filled with shock. "Your strength." The people around them were also stunned. One person had forced 4 great sage to retreat. What kind of strength was that? Heishan smiled. It seemed like there was no need for him to make a move. This person was at least at the late stage of the great sage or perhaps even stronger. As expected, the great sage's pupils shrank. "You've already reached the late stage of the great sage?" One had to know that they were only in the early stages of the great sage. The gap between them was too great. If the other party wanted to kill them, he could do so with a wave of his hand. The Pill Flame Great Sage snorted coldly. "It's good that you know. The reason I haven't killed you now is because I'm giving face to your sect. If you dare to attack again, then this old man won't be polite anymore. Do you have any objections to me taking this person away?" The 4 great sage fell silent. They were no match for the other party. In fact, he couldn't even compare to a single finger of the other party. Unless they also sent out the even more terrifying late-stage great sage. "Pill Flame, you've gone too far." At this moment a cold voice sounded. Between heaven and earth, countless spider lilies filled the air as if they were going to seal the world. The Pill Flame Great Sage's expression also changed. He waved his sleeve and enveloped Lin Xian. Then he disappeared with Lin Xian and Dan Feng. The sky was full of changes, descending and piercing through the void. However, it still couldn't stop the Pill Flame Great Sage. "Do you think you can escape?" The Purple Mansion expert snorted coldly. Obviously, he was also in the late stage of the Great Sage. "I'll be waiting for you at the Pill Cauldron Gate. If you could come out, you would have done so long ago." The Pill Flame Great Sage's last words floated out and then completely disappeared. Countless people were shocked. Lin Xian was rescued just like that. After killing so many experts, including 2 top-notch geniuses, did he just leave like that? It was unbelievable. Heishan sneered. His voice also sounded from all directions. "In the future, if the great sage dares to chase after Lin Xian again, don't blame me for killing your sex people." The others felt their blood run cold. Were the Heavenly Court's people intimidated? Damn it. The spider lilies in the sky frantically tried to seal Heishan. However, Heishan's figure turned into black mist and disappeared. He sneered. "You haven't fully recovered yet, so don't come out to be arrogant. You and the Heavenly Court will be completely destroyed one day." The spider lilies in the sky slowly disappeared. The Purple Mansion people seemed to have received some kind of order. They didn't attack but gritted their teeth and said, "Let's go." They quickly left. After them, the Golden Crow race and the Tranquil Cloud sect also left. They were unwilling. Even the Great Sage couldn't do anything to them. The others left one after another, spreading the news throughout Taiching Ancient City. Everyone went crazy. In this battle, the Golden Crow race, the Tranquil Cloud sect and the Purple Mansion suffered heavy losses. Especially the Golden Crow race and the Tranquil Cloud sect, they lost too many experts. Not only did many late-stage Sage King Elders die, 2 top geniuses also died. The Purple Mansion people were also ruthlessly slapped in the face. The Great Sage of the Purple Mansion came out and couldn't take down the other side. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was rescued by people from the Pill Cauldron school. For a moment, everyone was discussing whether they should attack the Pill Cauldron sect. Someone said that the remote antiquity families and great sects would definitely not let this matter rest. Just wait, there will be a great battle. Some people shook their heads. It wasn't certain. After all, the one who attacked was the great sage. He was very strong. More importantly, he was an alchemist. Some of the remote antiquity families and great sects needed his help. If they really angered him and he didn't refine precious pills for them in the future, they wouldn't even have time to cry. Countless people were discussing. The Golden Crow race and the Ghost sect people were urgently discussing. The eyes of the other families and sects flickered, such as the Light race, the Holy race and the Wind race. If they were to gather a group of top-notch elders, they would be able to do so. It was a small meeting. The eyes of the Light race's patriarch flickered. After listening to everyone's report, he said that the Purple Mansion wasn't as powerful as the legends said. After all, the Purple Mansion was in existence from 70,000 years ago. The current situation was already different from that time. The Purple Mansion people couldn't even take down a young man. I think that they have completely declined. At this moment, a Supreme Elder opened his eyes. He was a living fossil. He said indifferently, "Since that's the case, we can send people to secretly investigate. If they really declined, then the martial arts they collected and the cultivation techniques they inherited would all be snatched away." The eyes of these people shone with a piercing cold light. They were going to secretly take action. Not only the Light race but the Holy race and the Wind race also had the same idea. They all thought that the Purple Mansion people were no longer a threat. An operation regarding the Purple Mansion was quietly carried out. On the other side, Lin Xian was taken away by the Great Sage. When he arrived at Elixir Cauldron sect, he heaved a sigh of relief. He then spat out a mouthful of blood and his face became extremely pale. Although he had killed countless experts in the war, and had even stood up to great sages, he had displayed a heaven-defying display of power. However, he had also been seriously injured. After all, none of the people he killed were weak. Especially when he fought against the great sage at the end, he was seriously injured. It was only because he had many trump cards and a divine body that he was able to fight back. Otherwise, if it were any other Saint King, even a peak Saint King, their heart and soul would have been destroyed. Chapter 4698. Young Master Lin, are you alright? Dan Feng was very nervous. Lin Xian shook his head. I won't die, but I have to go into seclusion immediately. Otherwise, my foundation will be damaged. Indeed, he was heavily injured in this battle. Don't worry, our Pill Cauldron Gate has a lot of pills. Dan Feng said, I'll get them for you now. The Pill Fire Great Sage looked at him and gave him a bunch of pills. Little guy, take care of yourself. Lin Xian cupped his fists and said, Thank you for saving my life today, Senior. I can't thank you enough. The Pill Fire Great Sage nodded. Lin Xian said, Oh right, the two demonic beasts. Lin Xian didn't have time to take the purple Qilin and the three-eyed vermilion bird with him. He wondered how they were doing. The purple Qilin was fine, but the three-eyed vermilion bird seemed to be heavily injured. Take care of yourself. I'll get the two demonic beasts back for you. The Pill Fire Great Sage said. The two demonic beasts were suppressed and taken away by the Golden Crow clan and the Serene Cloud sect. The situation was terrible, but Lin Xian knew that they weren't dead yet. He had planted the seal of life and death on them. He would know when they died. The seal of life and death was still there. Okay, don't talk anymore. Take care of yourself or your foundation will be damaged. Dan Feng said anxiously. Lin Xian went into seclusion and started taking pills to recover. On the other side, the Pill Fire Great Sage went back. Two figures were waiting for him on a mountain peak. One of them was the same as him, the purple Pill Fire Great Sage, and the other was the sect leader of Pill Cauldron Gate. The sect leader of Pill Cauldron Gate didn't say anything. Would it be disadvantageous to Pill Cauldron Gate? He knew what had happened. They had offended several top forces at the same time, including the Purple Mansion. No matter how strong Pill Cauldron Gate was, they would feel the pressure. The purple Pill Fire Great Sage frowned. The Alchemy Flame Great Sage laughed. Since you've already received the news, you should know his identity and trump cards. The Great Sage Zidan said. He was the descendant of the Great Dragon and had the heaven-swallowing jar. His talent was top-notch. He might be the successor of the Nine Sons. If such a person were to grow up, his future would be limitless. They will definitely surpass us. That's right, his potential was unparalleled. The Great Sage smiled and nodded. Pill Cauldron Sect Master frowned. However, he was someone from the immortal burial ground and had no future. The great sage of alchemy Fire laughed. Sect Master, you've been smart all your life, but now you're stupid. Although it had come to Tianfa and was known as the immortal burial ground and had no future, it was still able to cultivate to its current level. Do you think it's fair to use someone from the immortal tomb to evaluate him? He definitely had a way to avoid the heavenly punishment, or else he wouldn't have broken through to become a great sage king. If we nurture such a genius, in the future he will reach the peak and even go one step further, reaching the Emperor realm. Our Pill Cauldron School will have 10,000 years of glory. Pill Cauldron Sect Master took a deep breath. Are you saying that we should place our hopes on him? That's too risky. He's offended several top factions. The Purple Mansion won't let him off. Besides, the geniuses of our Pill Cauldron School aren't weak either. Why should we place our hopes on such a person? The great sage of alchemy Fire shook his head. Our Pill Cauldron School has a transcendent status, and each of us has a disciple. Dan Feng, Jiang Qin and Fan Xing. Apart from Dan Feng's special identity, how would Fan Xing and Jiang Qin compare to Golden Crow Hao and Evil Spirit? Naturally they wouldn't be weaker than them. Pill Cauldron Sect Master said. Yes, they weren't weaker than them, but how strong could they be? At most, their strength would be on par. And now, Golden Crow Hao and the Evil Spirit were both taken down by Lin Xian with ease. Among the geniuses of Taiching Ancient City, how many could compete with Lin Xian? Even if there were, one was Yi Dao Denier and the other was Light. Both of them had the ancient body, so they had the best chance. Then there were the geniuses of the Purple Mansion that were secretly nurtured. Apart from them, geniuses like Xing Tiance and Feng Huang were still lacking. This is a golden age. All kinds of ancient body have appeared. There are even legendary treasures, the extreme Dao Wu. Even sects that were destroyed tens of thousands of years ago will reappear. You're only afraid of the Purple Mansion, but aren't you afraid of the Heavenly Court? Besides, the Purple Mansion's ambition can't be underestimated. Their foundation is too terrifying. Don't forget what happened tens of thousands of years ago. They used to rule the world, and even now people can't see them clearly. In the future, our Pill Cauldron School might be destroyed. Even if we can survive, are you willing to be ruled by others? Pill Cauldron School's master fell silent. The great sage of Purple Mansion also took a deep breath. It seems that whether we help Lin Xian or not, we'll have to face the Purple Mansion in the future. The great sage of alchemy Fire nodded. That's right. If that's the case, why not nurture a peerless genius? Lin Xian has the talent of a great emperor. A great emperor? Isn't that too much? Pill Cauldron School's master shook his head. Don't forget, this is only our Taiching Ancient City. The other ancient cities have their own imperial princes. How heaven-defying are their bloodlines. The great sage of alchemy Fire said that even if he doesn't become a great emperor, he'll still stand at the peak of the great sage. Just how terrifying was his strength. Don't forget, he has the great dragon sword soul, the 9-yang divine body, and the heaven-devouring jar. His battle prowess definitely surpasses the great sages. Think about it, if he can gather the complete heaven-devouring jar, there will be no great emperor in the world. At that time, there will be no great emperor in the universe. He will be the uncrowned king. No one will be able to defeat him. Even the other great emperor clans with great emperor weapons can only tie with him at most. I understand. Pill Cauldron School's master took a deep breath. From now on, we'll fully support this young man. For the future of our Pill Cauldron School and to not be swallowed by the Purple Mansion, we have to stand on Lin Xian's side. Right? Jiang Qin doesn't seem to be on good terms with Lin Xian. Should I give him a warning? Pill Cauldron School's master shook his head. Forget it, Jiang Qin is also a promising talent. He might be able to take over Pill Cauldron School in the future. Therefore he has to be thoroughly tempered. He has to let him know that there is always someone better. Lin Xian can teach him how to be a good person. After reaching a consensus, the three of them laughed. Lin Xian still didn't know that Pill Cauldron School had completely decided to stand on his side. At this moment he was still recovering with all his might. Endless light and great Tao appeared on his body, enveloping him. On the other side, Taiching Ancient City was surging. After Lin Xian's battle, someone else made a move. This time it was in the dark. A few peak great Saint Kings from the Light Clan turned into auroras and quietly hid. Together they suppressed the Purple Mansion expert. Then they collected his soul, but they found that there was a restriction in his soul. They didn't manage to find the core content, but that person's soul was automatically burned. Damn it, the Light Clan members threw the corpse on the ground. One of them said, "Why don't we attack a palace? It would be best if we could capture a successor." The few of them discussed for a while and prepared to take action. Chapter 4699. The Purple Mansion had been reactivated this time. Many palaces had been set up for the successors to live in and handle their affairs. This time the Light Clan went to one of the palaces. The night was very dark. There was no moonlight. The Light Clan's speed was extremely fast. These few Peak Saint Kings moved quickly. No one below the Great Sage could detect them. They arrived at a palace and used their maximum speed to break through the formation and walked in. There were many people in the palace, and they killed their way into the depths of the palace. This time they were prepared to suppress a successor. Those successors were all young geniuses. Even so, they were only middle Saint Kings. No matter how heaven-defying he was, so what if he could contend against a peak stage Saint King? This time they had captured 4 peak Saint Kings. They did not believe that each successor was as terrifying as Lin Xian. After all, not everyone had the sky-swallowing jar and the dragon sword soul. So, if the 4 of them attacked, there would be no mistakes. They could suppress the other party in an instant and take them away. There was a large palace in front. It was obviously the place where the successors lived. The 4 of them killed their way in from 4 directions. There was indeed a figure inside. It was a beautiful figure. Yufian opened her eyes and snorted. Who was it? The 4 Peak Saint Kings of the Light Clan had already formed a barrier to prevent the other party from transmitting any information. Their speed was extremely fast. So much so that no one could see their figures clearly. It was as if they did not exist. Although Yufian could not see their figures, she felt a chill run down her spine. Damn it. How dare you attack me? Yufian rushed in one direction. She felt a fatal threat. She did not dare to fight back. She had to leave here first and then gather the strong cultivators in the palace. You can't escape. The 4 Peak Saint Kings of the Light Clan used a peerless magical power, the Light Barrier. They used extremely fast speed to seal the world. Yufian was shaken back. Her aura was tumbling and her expression was extremely ugly. Damn it. Were these people of the Light Clan crazy? They dared to attack her. Were they not afraid of the Z Mansion's revenge? She roared crazily. A figure snorted. You can't even take down a young person. The Z Mansion is just SOSO. Yufian gritted her teeth. It seemed that because of Lin Xian, everyone thought that the Z Mansion was not as strong as it used to be. It might even be much weaker. So these clan of the ancients attacked. Seal her. The barrier of light became smaller and smaller. The distance that Yufian could move was also becoming smaller and smaller. She was about to be sealed. However, at this moment, an aurora streaked across and shattered the void. Yufian disappeared on the spot. What? The Peak Saint King of the Light Clan was stunned. Where was she? Did she escape? Impossible. No one could escape from the barrier of light. Over there. They turned around and saw Yufian behind them. How could it? How did he manage to escape? Even if he used his spatial ability, he might not be able to escape. The Clan Saint Kings of the clan. Yufian was also at a loss. Just now she was in despair. She even wanted to burn her foundation and risk her life. But at that moment, a hand grabbed her and brought her out. She looked around but she didn't find anything. There was a low rumble. Then a Peak Holy King from the Light Clan was sent flying backward, vomiting blood. A bloody hole had appeared in his body. Damn it, who is it? This time they finally knew that it wasn't Yufian. Another person had appeared, hiding in the void. Damn it, he might be a hidden expert. The 3 powerhouses of the Light Clan moved at top speed. As for the injured one, he quickly recovered and gnashed his teeth. He had to find his opponent. Don't bother looking. I'm here. A faint voice sounded and then a figure walked out. Who was it? The 4 of them looked over. Yufian was also curious. In the next moment they saw a young man standing in front of them. He was wearing a light golden Taoist robe. His aura was incomparably mysterious. Who are you? The members of the Light Clan frowned. They felt a sense of familiarity. That person didn't say anything. He raised his hand, and an endless amount of light gathered in his hand. Shadow-shattering sword. A low voice sounded. The pupils of the 4 Peak Holy Kings from the Light Clan shrank. How could it be? How could you use the Light Clan's ultimate technique? They didn't believe that the other party was definitely playing tricks. However, when they felt that terrifying aura, they were all in despair. Damn it, it really was their ultimate technique. Who was the other party? Get out of the way. The 4 of them quickly dodged, but it was useless. In an instant they were hit. The 4 of them stopped moving and the cracks on their bodies kept getting bigger. They couldn't believe it. One of them used the last of his strength to say, "I know who you are. You are." Before he could finish, his soul was completely shattered. Yufian was completely stunned. She realized that the 4 peak holy kings in front of her had all fallen. Who was this person? He killed 4 peak holy kings with one sword. And looking at the other party, he seemed to be very young. Could it be that he was a young genius? She gasped. Was there such a terrifying genius? Perhaps even Lin Xian wouldn't be able to do that. Who are you? Yufian was facing a great enemy. The other party used the Light Clan's ultimate technique. Could it be that he was a hidden genius of the Light Clan? The mysterious figure looked at Yufian and said, "I am the foundation of the Z Mansion." After saying that, he disappeared. At the same time, countless experts appeared from all directions and rushed over. "Fairy Fian, are you okay?" These were all experts of the Z Mansion. When they saw the 4 corpses of the Light Clan on the ground, their pupils constricted. Damn it, the Light Clan dared to attack them? Yufian took a deep breath. The other party's words were still echoing in her mind. The other party was from the Z Mansion? Why didn't she know about it? It seemed that she had underestimated the Z Mansion. Everyone had underestimated the Z Mansion. This terrifying existence that was above the clan of the ancients 70,000 years ago had an unimaginable foundation. In another palace in the Z Mansion, Qin Xianer was also attacked. The people who attacked her were from the Wind Clan. She was also firmly sealed. Qin Xianer was stunned. She didn't expect the people from the Wind Clan to attack her. Just when she thought she was going to be suppressed, a flash of blade light forced the 4 experts of the Wind tribe back. Qin Xianer was stunned. Was she saved? Who was it? The people from the Wind Clan didn't dare to believe it. Who are you? You can use our ultimate technique, the World of Wind. The person wearing a green robe didn't respond. Instead, he used the Wind Clan's ultimate technique again. Wind Spirit Slash. One slash killed the experts of the Wind Clan. Chapter 4700. In the 3rd palace, the people of the Holy Heavens race secretly attacked. The successor of this palace was Yao Guang. Yao Guang snorted when she saw these people. "You guys are really courting death. We know that you are strong, but you can't do anything to us." The people from the saintly race said. "Unless you are like Lin Xian and take out the extreme Dao Wu, or the great dragon sword. Otherwise, you can obediently wait to be suppressed today." The people of the Holy Heavens race quickly attacked. Yao Guang retreated quickly. He naturally knew that he was no match for them. After all, they were all peak sage kings. He could fight against one of them. But now that the 4 of them were attacking together, he couldn't fight against them. He waved his hand quickly and a black law swept out, quickly dissolving the power. Myriad Transformations Law. You actually know the secret technique of the Myriad Transformations sect. Have I underestimated the Z Mansion sect? The eyes of the people of the Holy Heavens race shone brightly. If they captured the other party, they might be able to obtain the secret technique of the Myriad Transformation sect. Yao Guang felt immense pressure facing the 4 peak sage kings. He snorted. "Are you not going to attack?" In the void, a figure laughed. "I want to see how strong you are. Now, it seems that your improvement isn't as fast as expected." "Who is it?" The people of the Holy Heavens race were shocked. Someone could enter? They had already used the Sage Sky diagram to seal the entire palace. No one outside would be able to know about it. But in an instant, their Sage Sky diagram was torn apart and a figure walked in. Terrifying light shone from his body. "Who are you?" The people of the Holy Heavens race were stunned. The other party was too strong. Moreover, the other party didn't have the aura of the Great Sage. This meant that the other party wasn't the Great Sage. However, he was actually able to enter so easily. It was hard to believe. Yao Guang snorted. "I have just started cultivating that kind of mystique. Give me a few more years and look at them. Will they still be my match?" After saying that, he retreated and said, "I will leave it to you. This is a battle of fate." An elder of the Holy Heavens race snorted. "You want to fight against me?" That person sighed. "The Holy Heavens race has declined in your hands. You haven't even mastered the Sage Sky diagram yet. Let me show you what the real Sage Sky diagram is." As he spoke, boundless energy gathered in his hands, and a heaven map materialized before him. Heaven and earth shook as a result. The people of the saintly race went crazy. "Damn it, how did you know our absolute art? Was the Violet Palace realm so powerful that he could obtain their ultimate techniques?" A heavenly map had sealed them. They did their best to resist, but at that moment, another heavenly steel condensed in the other party's hand. The Sage Heaven Steel had completely suppressed them. How could this be? Have you formed the Sage Heaven Steel? The few peak experts of the Holy Heavens clan despaired. None of them had managed to form the Sage Heaven Steel. At this moment, Yao Guang walked over with a smile on his face. He said, "Leave these people to me. I need their strength." The mysterious man nodded before turning around to leave. The four sealed Holy Heavens race experts roared crazily. "Damn it, who are you? Who are you?" However, the other party had already disappeared. Yao Guang walked over and asked, "Who is he?" "Go to hell and ask the King of Hell." As he spoke, an endless black vortex appeared on his body. More and more vortexes appeared. They engulfed the peak sage kings of the Holy Heavens clan. The four of them roared crazily. They felt their bodies melting as their strength was being devoured by the other party. What kind of mystique was this? Could it devour their strength directly? It was too terrifying. At this moment, a terrifying vortex appeared on Yao Guang's body, as though he had turned into a giant beast. He swallowed the four of them. The entire palace turned dark. A terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Crack. The Holy Heavens clan waited anxiously. They did not know how those people were doing. There should be no problem. After all, they were only suppressing the younger disciples. Moreover, they had taken the other party by surprise. The other party should not have been prepared. At this moment, a soul jade token in front of them cracked. Following which, the second, third, and fourth soul jade tokens cracked. What was going on? Inside, the core elders of the Holy Heavens clan stood up. Their eyes shone with shocking light. The leader of the Holy Heavens clan roared. Were they dead? How could this be? They could not believe that the four peak experts they had sent out had been killed. Wind clan. The leader of the Wind clan and some of the elders frowned. They looked at the broken soul jade tokens in front of them and their faces turned ugly. Were the people they had sent out dead? Could it be that they had been discovered by the Z Mansion? The leader of the Holy Heavens clan said. They had to be careful. They might have to bear the wrath of the Z Mansion. It was the same for the Light clan. The leader of the Light clan sighed. It seemed that they had underestimated the Z Mansion. Let's think about it again. The failure of this mission had greatly surprised them. They even felt as if they were facing a great enemy. They believed that the Purple Mansion would use this matter to attack them. But what surprised them was that in the following period of time, no one from the Z Mansion came. It was as though this matter had never happened. The remote antiquity families were shocked. They did not understand why. However, they did not dare to say it out loud. After all, they had launched a sneak attack first. They could only investigate in secret. Pill Cauldron Sect. In a palace, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The corner of his mouth lifted into a smile. As expected of an elixir sect. There were so many elixirs. With his injuries, it would take a long time for him to fully recover. But now, in the Pill Cauldron sect, this time had been shortened by 3 times. It was all the result of these elixirs. Outside the door, Dan Feng walked in and asked with a smile. How is it? Has he recovered? Lin Xian nodded and felt his strength. Then he smiled. It seemed that not only had he recovered, but his strength had also become stronger than before. Indeed, Lin Xian had fought a life-and-death battle before. It was easy to stimulate a person's potential in a life-and-death battle. So now, his strength had become stronger. By the way, how are things going outside? Lin Xian asked. He was asking about the Z Mansion. It had quieted down. The Z Mansion and the remote antiquity families had not come. He did not know what they were planning. However, during this period of time, Taiching Ancient City had been unusually calm. By the way, your 2 demonic beasts have returned, but they are both injured. Especially the 3-eyed vermilion bird, it is seriously injured. We have sent people to treat it. Take me to have a look. Lin Xian said. The 2 of them left the palace and walked outside. In front of a lake there was a forest. There were 2 demonic beasts there. Their auras were terrifying. It was the purple qilin and the 3-eyed vermilion bird. When Lin Xian saw the 2 demonic beasts, he frowned. The purple qilin was injured, but it was not fatal. The 3-eyed vermilion bird was not in good condition. Dan Feng said. Let the vermilion bird recuperate here. When it recovers, you can use it to fight. Lin Xian nodded. Chapter 4701. Lin Xian then looked in another direction with a look of surprise on his face. Another person was about to break through. No, there were 2 people about to break through. What a surprise. Lin Xian was too surprised. Dan Feng looked into the distance and smiled. It seemed to be those 2 guys. Who were they? Seeing Lin Xian's confusion, Dan Feng said, "One of them is Jiang Qin. You know him. The other one is like us. He's also a top genius. His name is Fan Xing. You haven't seen him before because he's been in seclusion. Now that he's broken through, it's time for him to come out." Thunder continued to spread in front of them. The elders of the Pill Cauldron sect were also nervous. They were very happy. Two geniuses had broken through at the same time. If they succeeded, they would reach the middle stage of the Sage King realm. Their alchemy skills would also improve a lot. 10 days passed just like that, and the lightning in front of them was finally about to disappear. They had succeeded. The elders were very happy. Even the great sage of the Pill Cauldron sect and the Pill Cauldron sect's leader nodded in satisfaction. Both of them were very talented. They would be able to take over their positions in the future. The great sage of the Purple Pill Cauldron was stunned. Jiang Qin flew in the direction of Dan Feng. How impatient. The Pill Cauldron sect's leader said, "Let him go. Someone will teach him a lesson. He needs to be tempered." After saying that, the two great sages stopped paying attention to them. During this period of time, Lin Xian had been very relaxed. He would either cultivate or discuss alchemy with Dan Feng, or he would check on the two beasts' condition. Today, after checking on the three-eyed vermilion bird's injuries, he frowned. The thunder tribulation in front of him had disappeared. A powerful figure was flying towards him quickly. It carried an endless domineering aura and monstrous flames. Soon he saw a figure standing in the sky. Not long after, a second figure appeared. These two should be the ones who broke through. Dan Feng looked at the sky and said, "Jiang Qin, Fan Xing, congratulations on your successful breakthrough." Fan Xing smiled and said, "You broke through earlier than us." Then he looked at Lin Xian in surprise. If he had guessed correctly, this must be the Lin Xian or young Master Lin who had been rumored recently. Lin Xian also looked at him. This Fan Xing had a scholarly appearance. It seemed like he was easy to make friends with. He smiled and nodded. "I am Lin Xian. You should be Fan Xing, right?" The two of them exchanged greetings. Jiang Qin snorted coldly. "He is indeed very famous, and I heard that he is from the Immortal Graveyard." He had heard of the people from the Immortal Burial Ground in history. Both of them were top geniuses, but their fates were extremely tragic and they died without a burial ground. "Brat, someone like you has no future. What right do you have to stand here with us? You don't deserve to stay here. Get out of our danding school." The Red Phoenix shouted coldly. "Jiang Qin, watch your attitude," said Jiang Qin. "Am I wrong? He has the wrath of heaven. He's going to die soon. Moreover, he offended the Purple Mansion. If he stays here, our danding school will have to face the Purple Mansion directly. You don't have to care about these things. Young Master Lin is here because the Grand Elder agreed. If you don't like it, go find the Grand Elder." Jiang Qin snorted coldly. "Of course I'll go find the Grand Elder. I'll also go find the sect leader. Just wait, this brat will get lost soon. And you, the Red Phoenix. I've broken through this time and I think my alchemy skills can improve even further. Soon I'll propose marriage to your master. Then we'll be family. So for now you'd better stay away from this brat." Hearing this, Dan Feng's face darkened. "Give up. I won't agree to it." Jiang Qin roared. "Was it because of this brat?" Lin Xian sneered. "If you roar in front of me again, I'll beat you up." "Damn it." Jiang Qin roared. He was a top genius and might become the sect leader of Danding School in the future. Now this brat dared to threaten him? However, he didn't dare to do anything. Although he had broken through, he wasn't stupid. After breaking through, he received all kinds of news. This fella had killed the Golden Crow and the Evil Spirit earlier on. The strength of these two geniuses sent chills down Lin Fan's spine. He gritted his teeth and said, "Brat, wait until I stabilize my realm. I'll let you know how powerful I am." With that, he turned and left. It seemed that he was going to find the sect leader of Danding School. Fan Xing also shrugged his shoulders, excused himself and left. Dan Feng said, "That brat is arrogant, but he doesn't have the guts to face someone stronger than him. He probably went to find the sect leader to say something. But don't worry, I'll go find my master and make sure he doesn't succeed." Lin Xian smiled. There was no need to be afraid of him. Since Lin Xian could stay here for a long time, it meant that Danding School had made a decision and supported him. He also understood this point. Although he was from the Immortal Graveyard, he had a way to avoid the heavenly punishment. His future was unparalleled. Danding School had high hopes for his future. And if he wanted to have hope in the future, he had to get rid of the Z Mansion. So, Lin Xian was thinking about how to deal with the Z Mansion. He couldn't do it by himself. He had to join forces and form an alliance. Only then would he be able to contend against the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian went out for a walk and got some news. He knew that after he left, the Black Mountain came out to threaten the world. He said that if the great sage attacked him, the heavenly court would use the same method to deal with the young disciples of the other sections. In this way the great sage wouldn't dare to act rashly, unless he could kill him in one blow. In this way Lin Xian didn't have to face the great sage for the time being. But he wouldn't wait for death. If the Z Mansion wanted to kill him, he would slap them in the face. It seemed that Taiching Ancient City was too peaceful. He had to add some fun. On this day Lin Xian found Dan Feng and Fan Xing. The two of them were confused. What was going on? Lin Xian said, "I'll take you to do something big." What was it? Dan Feng was confused. Fan Xing was even more curious. But he knew that the thing that Lin Xian was going to do was not small. Lin Xian said it was a little dangerous. "Do you dare? You might even offend people." Dan Feng said, "I'm not afraid." She had a hot temper. She did things based on her own preferences. Fan Xing said, "I'm not afraid either." Although he was gentle and didn't talk much, he was also an adventurous person. "Well, let's go. I'll take you to meet some people." Lin Xian left dancing school with Dan Feng and Fan Xing. They came to Taiching Lake. Taiching Lake was a very famous lake in Taiching Ancient City. It was beautiful and surrounded by spirit qi. It was a place where countless geniuses gathered. Taiching Lake was very big. Lin Xian and the others took a boat and wandered in the lake. There were many islands and pavilions in the lake. Chapter 4702. There were many people in the pagoda and Lin Xian knew all of them. When Lin Xian walked in, the people inside stood up one after another. "Exalted Immortal, are you all right?" "That's great." I knew that those people from the Purple Mansion sect were talking nonsense. How could an exalted immortal harm someone from the immortal tomb? Exalted immortals are true immortals. These people were Su Lai Hualing, Guli and the other 50 geniuses. They looked at Lin Xian with excitement on their faces. "Did you see that? An exalted immortal is not even afraid of heavenly punishment." So many experts. Dan Feng and Fan Xing were surprised. Especially Fan Xing, it was his first time seeing the 3 people standing at the front. Their auras were not weaker than his. Although the other 40 or so people were not as strong as him, they were also experts. What kind of power was it when such people gathered together? Moreover, these people were full of respect and admiration for Lin Xian. It was hard to believe. Lin Xian said with a smile, "Let me introduce 2 new friends to you. This is Dan Feng and this is Fan Xing. Both of them are from the Pill Cauldron sect and they are also my friends. I have some things to do on the 7th floor. I'll tell you later when I come back." Soon Lin Xian went to the 7th floor of the pagoda alone. He stood there and opened the window. His eyes flickered. Not long after, a black fog appeared and turned into a black-robed figure. It was He Shan. "You're here." Lin Xian looked around and asked. "No one noticed me, right?" He Shan said. "Don't worry, they're still far from catching me. Kid, you're not bad. You're recognized by the sky-swallowing jar. You know there's something in there?" Lin Xian was surprised. He Shan said, "Nonsense, but that thing is too dangerous. I think other than you the others won't be able to get it." Lin Xian smiled bitterly. It was indeed dangerous. One had to know that his soul had been crushed tens of thousands of times. If the others had weaker wills, they would have already collapsed. "By the way, what do you plan to do next?" "I'm going to do something big. I have to slap the Purple Mansion's face." "Oh," He Shan asked. "Isn't that simple? I've suppressed a descendant of the Z government. It's easy for me to humiliate the Z government." Black Mountain said, "This is just a small fight. The real smacking of his face is still up to me." "Do you have any plans?" Lin Xian was shocked. Black Mountain smiled mysteriously. "I'm from the Heavenly Court. You know that, right? Now that you have the Heaven-swallowing jar, you have gained the recognition of the Heavenly Court. You will be a member of the Heavenly Court in the future. Our enemy is the Zifu Palace." Of course, the Violet Palace realm was only one of them. Was there anything more terrifying? Lin Xian was surprised. Black Mountain said, "Let's defeat the Zifu first. I have a plan, and if I use it well, I can severely injure the Violet Palace realm. Of course, I need the perfect timing." Next, Black Mountain began to transmit his voice. Lin Xian was also shocked when he heard this. He did not expect the Black Mountain to be able to condense such a terrifying power. That should be enough. Lin Xian was surprised when he heard that. He Shan said, "You are too naive. The foundation of the Purple Palace is far beyond your imagination." Therefore, I can at most injure the Violet Palace realm. It is impossible to destroy the Violet Palace realm. But even if I can't destroy it, I have to teach it a lesson. What do you need me to do? Lin Xian asked. Black Mountain said, start your plan outside and let their eyes fall on you. Then I will be ready to take action. Also, you can make good use of the young people around you. Especially the sects behind them. It will be even better if you can pull them over. The Pill Cauldron sect should be on our side. As for the Hall of Longevity, the Fire God Palace, the Gu clan, and the other clans, that might not be the case. They passed by because I came out of the ancient bronze coffin. If they knew my true identity, they would probably ignore me. That might not be the case. Don't forget that you have the heaven-swallowing jar. You can enter Mount Eternal. There are some treasures in Mount Eternal that those sects dream of obtaining. You can negotiate with them. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He understood. Then these sects should be able to temporarily pull them over. As for the other clan of the ancients? Lin Xian asked. Black Mountain said, don't think about the Tai Ching ancient city. Don't contact them either. They won't stand on our side. They might even stand on the Violet Palace realm's side. I feel that the Violet Palace realm is about to make a big move. The two of them talked for a long time. Then Black Mountain floated away and went to prepare in secret. Lin Xian returned. The people below were all waiting. After seeing Lin Xian return, someone asked, Immortal, why did you gather us here? Yes, Immortal, just tell us what you need. We will definitely follow you. I came to find you all because of a big matter. I want to hold an auction. Auction. Everyone was stunned. Auction what? The belly fight of the Violet Palace disciple, the roasted meat of the Golden Crow elder, the blood formed by the top geniuses of the Tranquil Cloud sect. Is this enough? Fan Xing was stunned. Oh my god, what is this? Even the Red Phoenix sucked in a breath of cold air. However, the other geniuses. The glasses did light up. Really? Then this auction will definitely be very exciting. I'm already looking forward to it. Huolinger's eyes narrowed into crescent moons. Su Lai also clenched his fists. It was indeed good to follow an immortal, to be able to see such a strange auction. Gu Li asked impatiently. Immortal, when will it start? Lin Xian said that within a month. However, there's no rush. We have to make a good arrangement. There will definitely be some people who won't be honest at the auction. At that time we have to teach them a lesson. He then looked at the Red Phoenix and Fan Xing and asked, what's so special about Immemorial City? It's the kind of place where there are few people, but it's also spacious. It's a place that's especially suitable for setting up a great array. The Red Phoenix raised her eyebrows and laughed. I feel that you're going to scam people again. I know a place. Fan Xing said that when I went to pick spirit herbs, I passed by a place. That place is very suitable. Alright, let's do that. Next, who knows about array formations? Ti Gong resources? Lin Xian asked. He didn't waste any of those geniuses and quickly mobilized them. He also had to find a place to hold the auction. And he had to set up a terrifying array formation. Those who dared to behave atrociously at his auction would all be killed. Full Moon Mountain. This was the place that Fan Xing had mentioned. It was indeed a good place. Lin Xian and the others began to set up here. 20 days later, a piece of news quietly spread out in Taiching Ancient City. On the streets and alleys, people were talking about it. Brother, do you want to attend the full moon auction in a few days? Full moon auction, what is that? Some people were puzzled. Another person said, don't you know? That was a very rare auction. It was said that at that time, there would be a belly fight with the Purple Mansion Fairy. In addition, there would also be golden crow meat and various other treasures. What, there's actually such a thing? Those people were stunned. Chapter 4703. Boom. When the Golden Crow clan found out, they were enraged. Auctioning their Golden Crow roast meat? What a joke. Was this a challenge to their Golden Crow clan? Who was it that was courting death? The Serene Cloud Sect's people were so angry that they vomited blood. Because one of the items being auctioned was the blood essence of their genius disciple. This was a slap to their faces. Damn it, it was that kid, it was that Lin Xian. They gnashed their teeth. The Purple Mansion's people were very gloomy. Their Purple Mansion's fairy had been suppressed by someone else? Who was it? Someone said that from the looks of it, it should be that Lin Xian. We have one less successor. Fairy Ruashi is no longer here. She should have been suppressed by that kid. The Purple Mansion's elders gnashed their teeth. Damn it, find that brat for me and bring him back for me. I will tear him to pieces. The Purple Mansion's people moved quickly. Not only them, the Golden Crow clan and the Serene Cloud sect's people were also searching. They even went to the Pill Cauldron sect. The Pill Cauldron sect's elder walked out and said, Lin Xian is not with us. Nonsense. The Golden Crow clan's people shouted coldly. That's right, your Grand Elder saved him. How could he not be here? We want to search. Impudent, who do you think you are? How dare you behave so atrociously in our Pill Cauldron sect? How could they allow others to search the sacred land of pills? The Purple Mansion's people also arrived and said, hand over that kid, otherwise don't blame us for being impolite. The Pill Cauldron sect's people did not back down. Since they had already decided to stand on Lin Xian's side, how could they compromise? The atmosphere between the two sides became more and more tense. However, at this time a piece of news came out. It turned out that they had found Lin Xian's traces in another place. Damn it, that kid was not here. The Golden Crow clan's experts rushed to the sky. The Serene Cloud sect and Purple Mansion's people also rose to the sky. They no longer paid attention to the Pill Cauldron sect and rushed to the distance. When they arrived, they found that Lin Xian had already left. Next, Lin Xian's figure appeared in various places in Grand Clarity Ancient City. Zifu and the others went to search, but in the end they found nothing. In the end they gave up. They gritted their teeth and said, let's go to the full moon auction. I want to see who dares to auction our Purple Mansion's items. The Golden Crow clan and the Serene Cloud sect also charged over with murderous intent. The full moon auction was getting more and more lively. There were already quite a number of people gathered and waiting. However, since it wasn't time yet, how could he not start? No one saw Lin Xian and the others. There were only 3 days left until the deadline. He wondered what would happen when the time came. Don't you see that the people from the Purple Mansion are already here? Not only that, people from the Golden Crow clan and the Tranquil Cloud sect had also come. Other than them, the Holy Heavens race, Light race and Wind race were also present. It was truly another grand event. He did not expect that the Grand Clarity Ancient City had just calmed down for a few days, and a storm was about to rise again. Moreover, it was caused by this Lin Xian. What was this guy trying to do? Did he want to fight to the death with the people of the Z Mansion? More and more people gathered towards the Full Moon Mountain range. Finally, the day had arrived. Everyone's eyes were burning. They wondered if the legendary items that were going to be auctioned were true. Between heaven and earth, several war chariots flew over, releasing endless rays of light. It attracted the attention of countless people. He's here. It's Lin Xian. Everyone looked over. The Golden Crow clan, Z Mansion, and the Tranquil Cloud sect were even more murderous. They all stood up. They were ready to attack at any time. The war chariot in the sky stopped and a few figures walked out from it. There weren't many people, only 6. Lin Xian, Danfeng, Fanxing, Sulai Guli and Huolinger. As for the other top geniuses, they were scattered among the old people. When necessary, these people would take action. Kid, it's really you? The eyes of the Golden Crow clan's people instantly turned red. He soared up, covering the sky and earth. On the other side, the people of the Z Mansion and the Tranquil Cloud sect also rushed up, forming an inescapable net, enveloping Lin Xian and the others. This time, let's see how you escape. Lin Xian didn't care. He looked at the people around him and said indifferently, what, you still want to take action? Wasn't the lesson I taught you last time enough? Do you think that the elders haven't fallen enough? Go ahead and attack. Right, is the great sage here yet? Let him come out. He looked around, not caring at all. To deal with you, I'll use the great sage. I'll do it myself. Some of the young geniuses gritted their teeth. Lin Xian sneered. Where did this idiot come from? Did he just come out of seclusion? You don't even know my strength. Do you young people have the qualifications to contend with me? Z Mansion and the geniuses of the Golden Crow clan were about to bleed from anger. They couldn't help but want to rush forward. However, they were stopped by the elders. There was no need to talk about fairness with him. Everyone attack together and kill him. Yes, that's right. The people of the Tranquil Cloud sect were also gritting their teeth. The people of Z Mansion were even more dazzling. Today is the day you die. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He looked around and said indifferently, this time, I'm here with full sincerity to open the auction. This auction not only has the legendary items, I'll also auction a few more items that are even more precious. For example, some ancient martial arts and elixirs from tens of thousands of years ago. I think everyone is very interested in it. If I fall or get suppressed, those items won't be able to be auctioned off. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. There's such an item? Especially elixirs from tens of thousands of years ago. They were incomparably precious to the elders. Immediately someone spoke up. Why not let the auction end first? The people of the Light clan said indifferently. I think so too. The people of the Wind clan said. Even the people of the Holy Heavens clan said not to take action first. This shocked everyone. What's going on? These people are actually protecting Lin Xian? It's too unbelievable. The people of the Golden Crow clan gritted their teeth. The people of the Z mansion also frowned, but soon they sneered. Alright, let the auction begin first. They wanted to see what tricks this kid had up his sleeves. The people of the Light clan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't want to stand on Lin Xian's side, but they felt guilty when facing the Z mansion. After all, their people had sneakily attacked the Z mansion. Now, they naturally wanted to go against the Z mansion. Seeing that the battle hadn't started at the exit of the remote ancient families, Lin Xian snorted coldly and landed with a group of people. Lin Xian said to Su Lai, "Open the array." Su Lai and Hualing formed seals. Endless arrays appeared in the surroundings and covered the front. Everyone didn't care about this scene. Everything that was taken out in the auction was precious. If there was no protection, who would dare to open the auction? Chapter 4704. Lin Xian walked to the front and looked around. He smiled and said, "Thank you everyone for coming to my auction. The items this time will definitely not disappoint you." He waved his hand and took out a golden roasted meat. There was still divine fire spreading on it. It was obvious that it had just been roasted not long ago. There was even a fragrance wafting over. Many people swallowed their saliva. At the same time they were dumbfounded. Damn, it was really golden roasted meat. Could it be golden crow meat? Lin Xian said, "Everyone has already guessed it. That's right, golden crow meat at the peak of the Saint King level. This is very rare." After saying that, he waved his hand in the air and a row of golden crow wings appeared. It was also rare to see a peak Saint King. I think some people would like to try these two things. Everyone's scalps went numb. The eyes of the Golden Crow clan members instantly turned red. You're courting death. Did the other party really test their clan's elders? Although those elders had already died, it was still not allowed. Not only did this guy kill their elders, but he also roasted them and even took them out to auction. He was really courting death. Kill. Immediately, some people rushed over to attack. Take them down. Lin Xian shouted coldly. Hualinger walked out and attacked with the fire god seal, covering the sky and earth. On the other side, Guli was even more terrifying. He even formed a crack in the void with his hand, cutting off heaven and earth. He stopped the Golden Crow clan members. Want to attack? I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a cold light. A ball of soul fire was released, and immediately 2 Golden Crow clan experts hugged their heads and screamed. Their souls had been severely injured. Golden Crow clan, do you all want to become roasted meat? A cold voice sounded. The elders of the Golden Crow clan gritted their teeth and prepared to attack with all their might. However, the people of the Purple Mansion said, "Don't be anxious, we'll settle the score together later. Let's see what this kid can take out first." They were very suspicious. Was their successor suppressed by the other party? Therefore they had to figure this out. Okay, we'll give face to the Purple Mansion, but after the auction ends. No one will be able to stop us now. The people of the Golden Crow clan gritted their teeth. This time they were well prepared to kill the other party. Because they knew that the other party was very powerful. The people of the Golden Crow race retreated. However, no one dared to bid for it. Whoever dared to bid for such a thing would completely offend the Golden Crow clan and be hunted down endlessly. However, they didn't dare, but someone else did. A young man laughed and said, "I want it." When these words were spoken, countless people were shocked. Who was it? There were actually people who dared to ask for it. They all looked over. The people of the Golden Crow clan even used the shisha. Rin's gaze was fixed in that direction. The void in that place shattered continuously, and a young man appeared. His expression was somewhat gloomy, but he still snorted coldly. "What does it have to do with you guys that I'm auctioning something? Do you want to die? Why don't you try it again?" The experts of the Golden Crow clan all walked over. The young man's body also turned cold as if he was about to freeze. However, at this moment, a few old men at the side laughed. "What? Are you trying to interfere with the matters of the Fire God Palace? I'll accompany you to the end." Flames rushed out of their bodies and turned into 2 fire gods that stood between heaven and earth. He blocked the terrifying killing intent of the Golden Crow race. The people of the Fire God Palace were an unparalleled great sect. Did they want to become enemies with the Golden Crow race? The Golden Crow meat contains endless flame essence. To us fire attribute saints, it is a heavenly treasure. The Fire God Palace wants this item. No one bid again because no one was willing to offend the Golden Crow race. Alright, deal. Lin Xian didn't plan to bid for an expensive price. After all, he wasn't here for money. It was to slap the faces of the Golden Crow race, Z Mansion and Serene Cloud sect. At the same time, it would attract the attention of the world. He would let Heishan act in secret. As for the price, it didn't matter. The people of the Fire God Palace received the Golden Crow meat and wings and started eating on the spot. A few elders and geniuses were emitting flames. Endless flames shrouded him. There were even illusions of the Golden Crow between heaven and earth. Great, as expected of the Golden Crow, a divine beast of heaven and earth. I feel that I will be able to break through in no time. The young disciples were happy. The older generation experts also laughed. Great, I haven't felt such terrifying flames for a long time. Damn it. The people of the Golden Crow race vomited blood. This wasn't just a slap to their faces. This time they were pressed to the ground and ruthlessly kicked. Very good. Seeing the crazy appearance of the Golden Crow race, Lin Xian felt relieved. He let these people chase after him. He looked at the Serene Cloud sect and sneered. The people of the Serene Cloud sect had ugly expressions. They had a bad premonition. Lin Xian waved his hand and took out a treasure box. It was a red box. After opening it, a drop of blood appeared. The blood was the size of a fist and emitted a cold and terrifying aura. This drop of blood had an extraordinary origin. The top genius Wuxia. This was refined using his body. Although it was only a drop, the power it contained was endless. Lin Xian's voice rang out. The surrounding people went crazy. This guy took out another item. He slapped the Serene Cloud sect's face. As expected, the people of the Serene Cloud sect roared. Damn it, their top genius was being auctioned off just like that? You're courting death. An old man suddenly attacked towards Lin Xian. The 5 fingers turned into 5 evil swords, which pierced through the void and headed straight for Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The man-ruler seal slapped out, shattering the other party's palm. The elder retreated. Holding his broken palm, he gnashed his teeth. You dare to kill my grandson? I'll definitely not let you off. Your grandson deserves to die. He tried to kill me time and time again. Isn't it normal for him to be killed? What, only your Serene Cloud sect is allowed to attack? Others are not allowed to fight back? What a joke. Today I'm here. If you're not convinced, then come. If you really miss your grandson, I don't mind sending you to hell and let you reunite with him. Lin Xian's body emitted a terrifying aura. The Serene Cloud sect was so angry that they gnashed their teeth. At this time a cold voice rang out. You're arrogant. Isn't it because of your extreme Dao Wu? Qi and a great killing weapon? Without these external forces you are nothing at all. Was someone challenging Lin Xian? Who was it that didn't know the difference between life and death? Lin Xian also turned his head. What, you want to challenge me? Come out. Let me see who gave you the courage. From the Serene Cloud sect side, a young figure walked out. He looked somewhat similar to the evil spirit, but he was slightly older than the evil spirit. Who was this person? Some people were puzzled. The figure in front said, I'm Yulong Wuxia's brother. Do you dare not use external powers, not extreme Dao Wu? Qi, not great dragon sword, not great sage artifact. Chapter 4705. You want to have a fair fight with me? Lin Xian looked at Yulong and smiled. Fine, I'll fulfill your wish. Very good. Yulong's mouth curled up and he sneered. In his opinion, the other party's strength was definitely due to those treasures. The other party's true strength was not his match at all. That was why he proposed such a fair fight. Those who came to participate in the auction also exclaimed. It was really good to have a fight to watch. They were originally here to watch the show, so they could not wait. At this time, Su Lai walked out, looked at the people of Yu Yun's sect and said coldly. It was agreed that it would be a fair fight. The other elders were not allowed to make a move, or else you would lose all your face. The elders of Yu Yun's sect gritted their teeth. Humph, you don't need to say it, we know. Ling sneered. I have to tell you in advance because you are shameless. Despicable. The elders of Yu Yun's sect roared and then looked at Yulong. Yulong nodded. Don't worry, elders, there won't be a problem. He soared into the sky and arrived above the 9 heavens looking at Lin Xian. Come. Lin Xian also stepped into the air and stood there with his hands behind his back. He said indifferently, "Make your move. You will regret it." The power of Yu Lung's body exploded and swept through the 9 heavens. The other party was actually a late-stage Saint King, and he was a top genius. His true strength was not weaker than a peak Saint King. "Oh, is this what you're capable of?" Lin Xian laughed. "You said that it would be a fair fight and I won't use any tricks. But your cultivation is higher than mine. Is this what you mean by fair?" Below Huoling sneered. "Really shameless. To have a fair fight, other than not using any tricks. Other than qi, the cultivation had to be suppressed to the same realm." The others were also discussing. The faces of the people of Yu Yun's sect were ugly. Yu Lung also gritted his teeth. He would not suppress his cultivation. Lin Xian laughed. "No need to suppress your cultivation. Let's fight now. Even if the other party's cultivation was higher than his, and he was a genius, so what? He would not be afraid." He was indeed arrogant. However, arrogant people usually did not live. He laughed maniacally. He charged at Lin Xian with an incomparably cold aura of hell. He threw a punch at Lin Xian's head. This punch seemed casual, but it carried all of its power. It was a one-hit kill. Countless people cried out in surprise. Yu Lung was too extraordinary. One had to know. How powerful was Lin Xian? The other party clearly knew that and still dared to come out. This meant that the other party was stronger. He was Wuxia's brother. Wuxia was a peak-level Heaven's Chosen, and this Yu Lung was even stronger. In fact, he was several thousand years older than them and belonged to the previous generation of prodigies. If Lin Xian did not use any of his trump cards, he might not be able to withstand such a powerful attack. Once Lin Xian used those trump cards, the Tranquil Cloud sect and the Zifu sect would probably grab hold of this weakness. He could even use the Great Sage to fight again and completely suppress the other party. However, they were obviously overthinking things. Lin Xian doesn't use extreme martial arts, so what if he doesn't use the Great Sage Pagoda? The other party was strong, but the other party had underestimated its power. Facing the terrifying punch, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. He pointed out a finger. Dragon Elephant Finger. Between heaven and earth, the Dragon Elephant Phantom accompanied this attack and pointed out. The two collided, like thunder from the 9 heavens, piercing through the sky. The surrounding sky kept shattering. Did he block it? Countless people cried out in surprise. Lin Xian was too strong. Without using any other trump cards, just relying on his own strength, he could compete with the previous generation of prodigies. There was a difference of 1 realm between the two sides. They were in disbelief. Even Yu Lung was stunned. Damn it, how could it be like this? He guessed that the other party should be going all out. He still had powerful methods that he had not used. However, he no longer had the chance. This was because Lin Xian's finger attack had not been completely unleashed. Lin Xian looked at the other party and laughed. "You think you can fight to a draw with me? Too naive." After saying that, an even more terrifying power erupted. The roar of a dragon and tiger resounded between heaven and earth. With a boom, the power of the Dragon Elephant Finger exploded once again, directly shattering the other party's fist. Yu Lung fell from the sky to the ground, piercing through the mountain range. Was the victor decided in one move? The surrounding people were stunned. This was impossible. The people of Yu Yun's sect exclaimed in disbelief. The other experts were also stunned. Yu Lung was a genius from the previous generation. His strength definitely surpassed Jianghu, Wuxia and the others. This was equivalent to an elder. Previously, Lin Xian had used the power of the Heaven-Swallowing Jar to fight against an elder. Now that he did not have the Heaven-Swallowing Jar, could the other party rely on his own strength? How would he know that after the previous life-and-death battle, Lin Xian had another breakthrough? His strength had become even more powerful. Therefore, even when facing Yu Lung, he did not need to use any trump cards to completely suppress him. The people of Jianghu clan also gritted their teeth. Damn it, wasn't this too useless? The people of Yu Yun's sect said, "Wait, he has not lost yet." As his voice faded, the endless ground opened up and a figure rushed up, his hair disheveled. Yu Lung gritted his teeth and said, "Kid, I really underestimated you. No wonder you could kill my useless brother. You really have the ability to make me serious. However, you have completely angered me. I can guarantee that you will be miserable next." Lin Xian looked at the other party, revealing a look of surprise. "Oh, not dead? You are not bad, you are very strong. No wonder you dare to compete with me." The people below were surprised. It seemed that Yu Lung did not suffer much injuries. Could it be that he did not use his full strength before? I knew it, since he dared to challenge Lin Xian, he definitely has his own methods. The people of Yu Yun's sect also laughed. It seemed that Yu Leng was serious. The people of Zifu seemed to have thought of something. They looked at the other party and quickly asked, could it be that he can already open the 9 underworlds door? Hearing this, the people of Jianghu clan were shocked. The people of Yu Yun's sect narrowed their eyes. The people of Zifu even knew this. An elder took a deep breath and said, although it was not completely opened, it was already able to mobilize some of the power inside. Therefore this time Lin Xian will definitely die. So it was like this. Hearing this, the people of Zifu and Jianghu clan laughed. The other great sects were shocked. They did not expect this Yu Leng to be so strong. Could he even reach that realm? Some people did not understand. What did the 9 underworlds door mean? But soon they understood. It seemed to be a legendary world. Opening the 9 underworlds door, one could mobilize the power of that world. It was equivalent to using the power of the 9 underworlds hell. Could definitely sweep through everything. This kind of power was cultivated in the dark and cold laws. It was an extremely high realm. Not only did the Yu Yun sect have it, the other dark sects also had it. However, it was extremely difficult to open the 9 underworlds door. Not only did it require top talent, it also required heaven-defying luck. Chapter 4706. The surrounding people were discussing. Countless people looked at Yu Leng in shock. At this moment Yu Leng made his move. Behind him, a dark door slowly opened. A terrifying aura spread out in all directions like seawater. The pitch-black door was only half open, but that power was too terrifying. Countless people were shocked. It was so terrifying. This Yu Leng was too extraordinary. Wulinger, Su Lai and the others' eyelids twitched. Yu Wudao and the others frowned. Was this the legendary 9 underworld door? This guy's power would increase infinitely. Kid, go to hell. Yu Leng smiled and slapped out with the power of the 9 underworld door. Heaven and earth shattered. Even the pinnacle elders narrowed their eyes in shock. Those from the Purple Mansion sect looked solemn. They said that if the kid dared to use his trump card, they would attack together. This way they would have a reason to attack. Lin Xian was not afraid in the face of a world-destroying attack. He snorted and clenched his fist, forming a sword light and slashing down. Heaven and earth split into two. Slash. Lin Xian's power increased infinitely, turning into a peerless god of war. His slash turned into eternity. Countless people were shocked. Did this kid use his trump card? No, this was his own power. His understanding of the laws had reached such a level? Some of the older generation were ashamed of their inferiority. Some people from the desolate ancient families said that this kid had experienced many life and death battles. It was not surprising for him to break through at the brink of death. The outcome of this battle was hard to predict. Boom. The sword slashed the sky and collided with the opponent's black palm. The 9 heavens collapsed. Everyone retreated. They were nervous to the extreme. They wondered how the battle was going. Above the 9 heavens, 2 figures stood there. Lin Xian retracted his palm. The sword aura he had gathered had already disappeared. On the other side, Yu Leng was also retreating. The black palm he had unleashed had also disappeared. Damn it, he had blocked it. Countless people were shocked. Were they evenly matched? The people from the Yu Yun sect could not believe it. The power of the 9 underworld door could not do anything to the opponent. At this moment, there was a rumbling sound between heaven and earth. The door of the 9 underworlds slowly closed before disappearing from the world. How could this be? He actually annihilated the 9 underworlds door with a single sword strike. Countless people were shocked. The people from the Tranquil Cloud sect were even crazier. What was going on? Was it really the other party's strength that suppressed Yu Leng? Yu Leng's face was even paler. Without the 9 underworlds door, how could he resist? Your strength is decent, far surpassing Golden Crow How an evil spirit. But that's all there is to it. What other tricks do you have up your sleeves? If not, I can send you on your way. Lin Xian said indifferently as he clasped his hands behind his back. This time he did not use his peerless sword chi. Instead, a pair of golden eyes appeared. Damn it! He roared coldly, I will not lose. He was much stronger than his younger brother. Thus, he had once again condensed the 9 underworlds gate. As the door slowly opened, a cold and sinister aura appeared once more. Countless people were shocked. The Tranquil Cloud sect's people clenched their teeth. This was Yu Leng going all out. Even if he won, his foundation would be damaged. Because with his strength, it was very difficult for him to unleash a second 9th underworld door. Oh, at the cost of his life? You want to go against me? Lin Xian's golden eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. He shook his head slightly. It's useless. The same trick won't work a second time in front of me. Kid, you don't understand the 9 underworlds door. What kind of world is it connected to? Yu Lung snorted coldly as his palms formed seals continuously. 9 underworlds underworld, please bestow upon me strength. Inside the black door, a sinister energy appeared, forming a battle armor on Yu Lung's body. And a black 9 underworlds blade. To be able to obtain such powerful strength again, he roared towards the sky. Lin Xian snorted coldly as he released his heavenly secret divine eyes. There was a pair of golden eyes in the sky, looking down at the 9 underworlds door. Then, the power of reincarnation appeared. Destroy. His voice was like thunder. He was like a god as he swept his gaze across. The power of reincarnation appeared, forming a reincarnation wheel that continuously crushed the 9 underworlds door. Boom, boom, boom. Thousands of roars came from the 9 underworlds door, as if there were spirits from hell rushing out. But in the end, they were directly destroyed by the power of reincarnation. The heavenly god's eye had destroyed the 9 underworlds door. Yu Lung spat out blood and flew backwards. This time, his injuries were even more severe and he couldn't even stand up. Was he defeated? Everyone exclaimed. In front of such a powerful 9 underworlds door, he couldn't kill Lin Xian. Most likely there weren't many in the younger generation who could compete with him. What's with that pair of eyes? Does he still have a powerful trump card? That seemed to be his own strength and not an external force. Countless people exclaimed. In the previous battle, Lin Xian didn't bring out such terrifying strength. Alright, since you lost, I'll send you on your way. Lin Xian's gaze turned into a terrifying flame that fell down from the sky. No. The experts of the Serene Cloud sect roared and rushed forward. Yu Lung was already dead. They wouldn't allow anything to happen to him. Wallinger sneered. Is this your so-called fairness? Who said that they wouldn't attack? You bunch of elders are really shameless. Everyone was shocked. The elders of the Serene Cloud sect gritted their teeth. They didn't care about their face, but their lives were more important. They rushed forward crazily. Lin Xian snorted and roared. A mysterious heavenly map appeared in his eyes. Following that, he seemed to have opened a space and directly sent the souls of these elders into reincarnation. Those elders' eyes turned white, and they fell from the sky. One by one they died. What's going on? Countless people were terrified. What kind of power was this? That pair of eyes was too terrifying. The elders who had rushed forward had all fallen. Lin Xian looked at Yu Lung again and said, "This time I'll send you on your way." Yu Lung roared, took out a black rune and threw it forward. Indeed, when those symbols split apart, a wave of world-destroying power emerged. Everyone was terrified. Not good, it's a forbidden weapon. Such a terrifying forbidden weapon was definitely made by the Great Sage. Once it exploded, it was equivalent to the Great Sage attacking. Lin Xian was in danger unless he used his trump card. Good chance. Those people from the Purple Mansion sneered. Su Lai, Gu Li and the others roared. Despicable person not letting others use their trump card. Chi's trump card. But you used external power, what qualifications do you have to be a genius? Haha, die for me. Yu Lung sneered. So what if he used external power? The winner was king. He had finally killed the other party. But at this time, a sigh came from behind him. You think you can kill me like this? You're really naive. Impossible. Yu Lung suddenly turned his head, and his hair stood on end. How did the other party get behind him? Damn it, you borrowed the power of a demonic beast. He knew that Lin Xian had a void beast that could move space. Lin Xian sneered. I'm not as despicable as you, I didn't use external power. That's because I know spatial god arts. Now you can go to hell. Chapter 4707. Reincarnation. Yu Lung's soul wanted to escape, but in the end he was also completely annihilated by the reincarnation. An expert of a generation was destroyed once again. No. The people of the Serene Cloud sect went crazy. The people of the Golden Crow race and Zifu had ugly expressions. Because in the entire process, the other party did not use Wu, Qi and external force. They simply could not find a chance to attack. Lin Xian looked at the Serene Cloud sect. If you are not satisfied, continue to attack. But do you still have face? Damn it. Just you wait. The Serene Cloud sect roared. They took Yu Lung's corpse and quickly left. They truly did not have the face to stay here. Lin Xian looked at Zifu and sneered. Do you still want to stay here? The people of Zifu clenched their teeth. Brat, what other tricks do you have? Just use them. Alright, I'll let you open your eyes. Lin Xian descended and retracted the terrifying reincarnation power. He looked around and said, the next item to be auctioned was even more peculiar. As he spoke, he waved his hand and took out a belly dipper. Countless people's eyes lit up. Could it really be the legendary belly dipper of the Zifu? Lin Xian laughed. That's right, the rumors were true. This was Ruoshi's belly dipper. The faces of the Zifu people were terrifyingly black. They had the urge to turn around and leave. Damn it, if they knew earlier they would have left with the people of the Serene Cloud sect. Now that they had been slapped in the face, could they still leave? An elder roared. A bunch of nonsense. It's not even something that belongs to our successor. That's right. Brat, you think you can just casually take one out and give it to us? No one will believe you. The people of Zifu sneered. The others were also shocked. Could it really be that this brat casually took one out? I think it's possible. How could the successor of the Zifu hand this item over to the other party? Hearing this question, Lin Xian said, are you doubting me? Do you want me to invite Ruoshi out now? She did not have a belly dipper on her. The people of Zifu had the heart to die. If Ruoshi really appeared, then they would lose all their face for the rest of their lives. So they clenched their teeth. They could not let Ruoshi out. No one dared to speak. Seeing Zifu shut up, Lin Xian sneered. If he had known that he would be slapped in the face, he wouldn't have come in the first place. Lin Xian looked around and said, you all should have seen the attitude of the Z government, so I don't need to tell you the truth of this item, right? Now the auction begins. Countless people were shocked. The Zifu palace was so frightened, so it was very likely that it was true. Therefore, some people really began to bid. This time there was no need for Lin Xian to secretly send people. The scene was very lively. The price soared to 1,000 drops of dragon marrow. After all, this was just a piece of clothing. Even if he bought it, it would only be for his collection. At this time, an elder from the Violet Palace shouted, who dares to compete with me for 3,000 dragon marrow? I will destroy their soul. Countless people were astonished. It seemed that the Z government wanted to take back that item. Lin Xian looked at him and laughed coldly. I didn't expect you to have such a young heart at such an old age. You actually have such a hobby. Could it be that when Ruoshi was in your Violet Palace, you already had ideas about her? As soon as he said that, the surrounding people burst into laughter. Old Zhang's face was as red as iron. He was so angry that smoke came out of his body. Damn it, he gnashed his teeth. However, the people next to him said that no matter what, they had to take back that item. The people from the Z government walked out and said, whoever dares to compete with us is going against us. Although the others were laughing, they didn't dare to bid anymore. The consequences of offending the Z government would be very miserable. At this time, the people that Lin Xian secretly sent out played a role. The 50 or so geniuses scattered in the crowd and began to bid. 4,000 drops of dragon marrow. 6,000 drops of dragon marrow. The price quickly reached 10,000 drops of dragon marrow. The surrounding people were shocked. Who are these people? Do they want to die? Someone said that it was Lin Xian's people. The people from the Zifu Palace gnashed their teeth and roared. 20,000 dragon marrow. Finally, the price rose to 100,000 drops of dragon marrow. Lin Xian's people didn't bid anymore. The people from the Z government finally won the bid. They were so depressed that they almost vomited blood. However, this item had to be destroyed. We didn't bring so much dragon marrow this time. Give it to us first and we'll give it to you when we go back. The elder from the Z government said coldly. Lin Xian laughed after hearing that. If you don't have dragon marrow, what are you going to auction? Are you challenging us? If you want something, take out the dragon marrow. Otherwise I'll let Ruoshin out. After saying that, Lin Xian and the others looked at the Z government with a cold smile. The Z government was helpless. In the end, they gathered 50,000 drops of dragon marrow. As for the rest, he gave them to Lin Xian in exchange for other precious materials. Lin Xian threw the dragon marrow to the other party. After the person from the Z government got it, he slapped it back. At the same time, he gritted his teeth and said, if anyone dares to spread what happened today, I'll destroy their family. Do you think no one knows about this? Lin Xian sneered. The people from the Z government walked up and said, all right kid, the auction is over. It's time to send you on your way. The people from the Golden Crow race stood up. The people from the Serene Cloud sect also came back. The experts from the three sects surrounded the place. The people from the auction retreated in fear. They ran far away. Lin Xian and the others stood there looking around. He sneered. Do you want to attack? Call out the great sage. The people from the Z government said, there's no need for the great sage to deal with you. Today you'll definitely die. After saying that, the experts all attacked. Monstrous power of law surged out. The three sects attacked together. It was really terrifying. Lin Xian and the others roared. Countless geniuses formed hand seals. One formation after another lit up and swept across the land. A huge battle erupted in an instant. Do you think you're the only one with formations? We're already prepared. The people from the Z government and the Serene Cloud sect sneered. Their foundation was not something that Lin Xian could compare to. Before coming, they had prepared many killing formations. Now that they were released, they swept across the land. The collision between the two sides was very terrifying. On Lin Xian's side, the aura was tumbling. Many formations were broken. Not good, they're too prepared. We can't beat them. Should we retreat? Wuxia said. I'll call the elders of the sections. Come, let's fight. This time, other than the young disciples, they also called some elders from their own sections. For example, the Fire God Palace had many elders. After these elders came, they also joined the battle. Lin Xian said, we can retreat. This time, not only did he slap the faces of the three sects, he also obtained 100,000 dragon marrow. It could be said that his mission was over. There was no need to stay here. It was time to leave. Want to leave? Too naive. The people from the Z government roared. Today we'll definitely not let you leave. Chapter 4708. A great battle broke out. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian's side had many people helping to block it. They quickly retreated. The three forces led by the Purple Mansion sect charged forward in a frenzy. No one can leave today. What should they do? Wuxia and the others frowned. Were they going to risk their lives? Lin Xian sneered. No need, he gave them a big gift. He waved his hand and took out a black stone. There was a rune on it. He said, hurry up and retreat. Everyone was surprised. A black stone was so useful? However, when Lin Xian took the talisman, everyone's hair stood on end. Even Lin Xian was sent flying in an instant. The black stone turned into a stream of light and attacked the people of Zifu and the other two major forces. Those people felt the terrifying aura and shouted angrily, quickly attacking. They attacked frantically and hit the black stone. The black stone was shattered into countless small pieces and scattered in all directions. However, an even more terrifying power erupted from inside and swept out. Not good. The faces of the people of Zifu changed greatly. Several elders of the Golden Crow clan turned into bones in an instant. The people of the Serene Cloud sect were also frightened and quickly scattered. The people of Zifu were also affected. Damn it, what was this? Lin Xian's side was also shocked. The pupils of the elders of the Fire God Palace shrank. The power of Mount Eternal. Exalted Immortal, did you bring anything out from Mount Eternal? They were really too surprised. Wuxia, Su Lai, Gu Li and the others were even more shocked. They were from the Mount Eternal area, so they naturally knew how terrifying Mount Eternal was. A great sage would definitely die if he entered Mount Eternal. Although it was only a stone now, it was not something that anyone could contend against. Sure enough, it was like that. The black stone was very terrifying. After it was shattered, all kinds of indestructible power swept in all directions. The people of the three major forces were really miserable this time. They were too smart for their own good. If they did not attack the stone, they might have been able to escape. But now the area it covered was simply too wide. In that instant, people turned into white bones one after another, falling. The people of the Golden Crow clan were in despair. Damn it, I will definitely not let you off. The people of the Serene Cloud sect also roared. The eyes of the people of Zifu turned red. Retreat. Retreat. In front of such a terrifying indestructible aura, they could not resist at all. The losses this time were too heavy. The people who were watching the battle in the distance also frantically retreated. Now, it was not as simple as watching the battle. If they were not careful, they might die. Lin Xian and the others retreated even more quickly. They tore open the void and disappeared. In an instant, Mount Full Moon had become an indestructible place. All that was left was the legend of the battle and the endless white bones. These people fled back one after another. For a time, the news spread throughout the entire Grand Clarity Ancient City. The people in Grand Clarity Ancient City were all stupefied. It couldn't be, right? Another huge storm was created. And in the end, Countless people were shocked and did not dare to believe it. But this time many top experts saw it with their own eyes. Especially the black stone at the end. It was too strange. Zifu Golden Crow Clan and Serene Cloud Sect vomited blood when they returned. They had prepared carefully to suppress the other party. Who would have thought that more people would die? Damn it. In an instant many people searched frantically. As for the Violet Mansion sect, they had mobilized countless powerful experts, including great sages who were preparing to make a move. However, they could not find Lin Xian and the others in the entire Taiching ancient city. Lin Xian and the others left Mount Full Moon and flew into the distance. They also left Taiching ancient city. The people of Fire God Palace were incomparably shocked. Upper immortals could take things out of Mount Eternal? I am injured now and can't take out many things. However, taking out one or two is not a problem. Really? That's great. The eyes of the elders of Fire God Palace turned red. Woling Gu Li and the others were even more excited. If this was true, then it was too important. They had to quickly report it to their sections. They once again invited Lin Xian to return as a guest. Lin Xian did not refuse this time because he already had this intention. He wanted to pull these sects to his side. After flying for a while, they finally arrived at the area of Mount Eternal. This time the Fire God Palace invited Lin Xian in. As for Gu Li, Su Lai and the other geniuses, they all returned to their sections. They had to pass this important news to their sect masters. Lin Xian, Dan Feng and the other two followed the elders of Fire God Palace to a flaming mountain. There was a sea of fire around them. Dan Feng and Fan Xing's eyes lit up. They were alchemists and naturally needed fire. At this moment they felt the terrifying aura of the flames and were greatly surprised. The flames of the Fire God Palace were not inferior to their Pill Cauldron sect. Was it really okay for Lin Xian to pretend to be an immortal? They knew Lin Xian's identity. However, Lin Xian looked calm as if he was not afraid at all. Forget it, let's just follow him and see. Dan Feng sighed. If there was no other way, she would ask her master for help. She had underestimated Lin Xian. After entering, the elders of Fire God Palace and even the great sage came to welcome them. Greetings, exalted immortal. They kept bowing to Lin Xian. The respectful scene stunned Dan Feng and Fan Xing. This treatment was almost the same as a real sect master, right? Facing such a grand scene, Lin Xian was very calm. He said lightly, "No need to be so courteous. Get up." With a wave of his hand, he sat at the highest point of the hall. The elders were discussing quickly as if they were sure of something. Finally, old Zhang walked out and said, "First, we have a request. Exalted immortal, please agree." Request? Great, I have something for you to do. The eyes of the people of Fire God Palace lit up. If the other party did not have any requests, it would be difficult to succeed. However, if the other party had something to do, they could help. Therefore they quickly said, "Exalted immortal, please tell us what you need. We will definitely do it perfectly." Lin Xian nodded. "There's no hurry. Let's talk about your request first." A great sage walked out and cupped his fist with a smile. "Exalted immortal, I heard that you brought out a rock from Mount Eternal. I don't think I'm wrong." Lin Xian nodded. "That's right." The elders of the Fire God Palace gasped as their eyes turned red. The great sage continued. "I wonder if Exalted Immortal could bring out other things from Mount Eternal?" Lin Xian said lightly. "If it's something from Mount Eternal, I'm afraid I can't take it out now. However, ordinary things are not a problem." "Really?" The eyes of the people of Fire God Palace lit up. It would be great if that was the case. Chapter 4709. Lin Xian chuckled inwardly as he finally got to the main point. He was waiting for these people to make a request. He pretended to be in a difficult position and said, "Under normal circumstances, it's not impossible. But now, I'm afraid it's impossible." The Fire God Palace people's faces changed. "What?" the great sage asked. Lin Xian sighed. "The reason is very simple. It's because of Zifu. I went to Taiching Ancient City and had a grudge with Zifu. Zifu wants to kill me now. You can ask Huolinger about this, she should know." The Fire God Palace elders looked at Huolinger. Huolinger nodded. Zifu people are very despicable. They specifically target exalted immortals. Damn it, what's so great about Zifu? Exalted immortal will help you deal with them. The great sage said, "Yes, that's right. Zifu, a sect that declined 70,000 years ago, wants to rise again. They really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." What a joke. Zifu said they have a mortal fate. They don't even know who the real exalted immortal is and they still want to kill him? They're really courting death. Lin Xian sighed. Maybe it's because of my identity that they want to kill me. If you can help me, that's great. This way I can help you get a spiritual herb without worry. Exalted immortal, don't worry. We'll definitely stand on your side and help you. Exalted immortal, please don't worry and help us get the spiritual herb. Lin Xian said, I'll remember the spiritual herb you want. However, I'm afraid that Zifu will make a move soon. So I have to fight back quickly. The Fire God Palace people started to discuss. At this time, someone really found out that Zifu was near Mount Eternal. It turned out that Zifu didn't give up searching. Last time, the 2 groups of people they sent out were killed near Mount Eternal. They sent more people to search the area. At this moment, the Fire God Palace people quickly found these people. They thought that these people were chasing after Lin Xian and were furious. Don't worry, we'll help you deal with Zifu. When the time comes, we'll ask Exalted Immortal to help us get the divine herb. The Fire God Palace people said quickly. Lin Xian smiled. This Zifu was really unlucky. He didn't expect that they would always send people here. Now that the Fire God Palace had misunderstood him, he decided to beat them at their own game. Alright, then you guys discuss. I'll rest here. The elders then left. Lin Xian, Dan Feng and Fan Fanxing were invited to a spirit mountain. There was a supreme-grade spirit vein here. Verdant hills and limpid waters made it a good place to live. In less than 2 days the place was filled with people. There were people from the Longevity Hall, the Gu clan and other sects and clans. They were all here. If Lin Xian could enter Mount Eternal, then he could help them get some divine medicine. After they arrived, they learned that Lin Xian had promised the Fire God Palace to retrieve a stalk of immortal herb. This made their eyes turn red. They absolutely could not fall behind. In addition, they knew that Lin Xian had a grudge with the Zifu. So when they arrived, they immediately asked, Don't worry, Exalted Immortal. We're willing to follow you and suppress the Zifu. The Supreme Elder of the Longevity Hall said directly. The Gu clan's elder nodded. That's right. Exalted Immortal, please retrieve the divine herb for us. Lin Xian looked at them and said, I can't enter Mount Eternal too many times. After all, that place is very special. However, seeing that everyone is so sincere, I will make an exception and enter a few more times to help everyone take out the things that you want. Thank you, Exalted Immortal. Everyone thanked him and then went back to prepare. This time, many people were ready to go back with Lin Xian. The leaders were 2 great sects, the Fire God Palace and the Longevity Hall. There was also a clan of the Ancients. Other than them, the other clans and sects were weaker than these 3 forces. However, at this moment, they were equivalent to an unparalleled great sect. Soon they gathered around Lin Xian and formed the Immortal Alliance. Apart from the elders and the great sage, even Hualing and the other young geniuses followed Lin Xian again. Lin Xian looked at this powerful force and took a deep breath. It really exceeded his expectations. It seemed like it was time to counterattack the Zifu. He wanted everyone to know the consequences of chasing after him. Even the Zifu was no exception. Of course, he would not let the Golden Crow clan and the Serene Cloud sect go. The group of people prepared to return to Grand Clarity Ancient City. At the same time, another figure came to Grand Clarity Ancient City. It was a woman with a beautiful face and a veil. She looked at Grand Clarity Ancient City and sighed. Is this primeval city? At this time, a voice sounded in her mind. It was a woman's voice and it was very old and weak. She said, That's right, this is Grand Clarity Ancient City. The Zifu and Heavenly Court had appeared here before. And recently news of them appeared again. The Zifu had been reactivated. The ruins of the Heavenly Court had also appeared, and it was said that the Sky Lantern had been reignited. Go in quickly. Hearing the voice in her mind, Xin Jingqiu nodded and entered the Taiqing Ancient City in front of her. After entering, she asked around and finally obtained some recent news. The appearance of the Sky Lantern and the appearance of the ancient bronze coffin, and the ancient bronze coffin that was pulled by 9 true dragons across the sky, shocked countless people. Even the heaven-devouring jar had appeared. Big brother Lin Xian. What Xin Jingqiu heard the most was the legend of Lin Xian. Because no matter what it was related to Lin Xian. Moreover, Lin Xian seemed to be the center of the whirlpool. Especially after hearing about Lin Xian's various shocking deeds, she became very nervous. She wondered how he was now, and it seemed that he had already left Grand Clarity Ancient City. Thinking of this, she asked about the location of the ruins of the Heavenly Court and then began to move. A few days later she arrived at the ruins of the heavenly court. At this moment the ruins of the heavenly court had already disappeared, and only ruins were left. The space of the heavenly court had also closed again and would not open again. Standing here and feeling the remaining power of heaven and earth, Shen Jingqiu's eyes flickered. The voice of the woman in her mind sounded. It seems that we were a step too late. Otherwise we might have been able to obtain half of the extreme weapon. Shen Jingqiu frowned. What did that mean? The mysterious woman said. The heaven-devouring jar was not complete and still lacked a lid. Where was the lid? The mysterious woman said that it must still be in another secret space of the heavenly court. As for which one it was she did not know. Of course there was another legend, and that was that the Zifu had arrived. Back then the Zifu had attacked the heavenly court. It was said that the Zifu had obtained something incredible from the heavenly court. There was a taboo martial art and a terrifying weapon. It was very likely that it was the lid of the heaven-devouring jar. What was a taboo martial art? Shen Jingqiu asked. The mysterious woman sighed. It was said to be the heaven-devouring demonic art. Chapter 47:10. Shen Jingqiu was shocked. So it was the legendary devouring heaven demonic skill. She had heard of it before. It was a peerless skill created by a great emperor. She hadn't thought that it would be in the hands of the Z mansion. All of a sudden she frowned. Her gaze swept across the void behind her as she berated coldly. Who was it? Come out. I didn't think that you would be able to discover my existence. How surprising. A faint voice sounded, but no one appeared. Shen Jingqiu frowned. The mysterious woman in her mind had said that he was moving at high speed. Shen Jingqiu's pupils shrank. The other party's speed and strength were too fast. It was hard to believe. Who are you? Shen Jingqiu asked. A figure appeared behind her. It was a man dressed in a glowing robe. His body was glowing with light. He smiled and said, I'm from the Z mansion. I want to invite you. Z mansion. Shen Jingqiu narrowed her eyes. She hadn't thought that someone from the Z mansion would come looking for her. Could it be that she had been discovered when she had just arrived? Well, she would go and see what kind of deity the legendary Z mansion had. Taiching ancient city seemed to have become calm again. The storm caused by Lin Xian had gradually subsided. However, on this day another storm quickly blew. This was a world-shaking event, so much so that everyone in Grand Clarity ancient city was stupefied. They couldn't believe it. That was the Purple Mansion, and it made an announcement. They were willing to exchange their peerless inheritances with other remote antiquity families and peerless sections. It was an earth-shattering deal. One had to know that inheritances were the core of a family and sections. They absolutely couldn't let it spread. But now the Z mansion wanted to make such a deal. Who would agree? The remote antiquity families were shocked. They couldn't believe it. They all went to investigate. The Z mansion's answer was very simple. They had everything that the other party wanted. They even had things that the other party couldn't think of, including the peerless skills of the heavenly court. They also had them. Everyone was shocked. Was it really the Z mansion who had led people to attack the heavenly court? Otherwise, how could they have obtained the peerless skills of the heavenly court? For a time, countless discussions sounded. The Wind Tribe, the Light Tribe, the Holy Sky Tribe and the other remote antiquity families were also discussing whether this was true. To be honest, they didn't want to spread their core techniques, but they were envious of what Zifu possessed. We can give it a try first. Let's exchange some martial arts with them. Soon the Wind Clan began to move. The Wind Clan took out a saber technique. It was the Nimble Saber technique. This was also a very powerful absolute art, but it was not their core content, so they decided to give it a try. The people from the Purple Mansion agreed to the exchange and gave the great desolate heaven-rending hand to the Wind Clan. That's great. The two sides quickly exchanged information, and then the people of the Wind Clan returned. They had seen the might of the great desolate heaven-splitting hand. After mastering it, it could split the heavens and split the earth. Their saber arts were not weak. In fact, they might even be stronger. This deal was definitely worth it. The other remote antiquity families and sects were still observing. However, when they learned about what had happened to the Wind Clan, their eyes all turned red. Let's do the exchange too. The Light Clan, Sacred Heaven Clan and Serene Cloud sect exchanged some absolute arts and obtained the great desolate heaven-splitting hand. The people from the Purple Mansion were extremely happy. They only used the great desolate heaven-splitting hand to exchange for several absolute arts. This deal was too good for them. Another old man said, "Don't be anxious. This is just the beginning. It's still a probing stage. Wait until it's confirmed. I think there will definitely be people who will exchange with us for other absolute arts. Even the inheritance absolute arts can be exchanged. As expected, not long after, the people from the Serene Cloud sect came again. It seemed like they wanted to carry out an even bigger exchange. The Serene Cloud sect was extremely embarrassed. The young genius they had pushed out, Wuxia, had been killed. Their hidden genius, Yulong, had also fallen. The fall of two top geniuses had caused the Serene Cloud sect to suffer a heavy blow. Don't look at how they were at their peak now. What about a few thousand years later? After two geniuses had fallen, it would be extremely difficult to nurture them again. Especially Yulong, who could communicate with the 9 underworlds door. It could be said that the future was bleak. Therefore they decided to take a gamble. To exchange for an absolute art. This way they might be able to create a few more geniuses. The elders of the Serene Cloud sect secretly entered the Purple Mansion to discuss. What they wanted the most was the inheritance of the Heavenly Court. However, the price offered by the Purple Mansion was too much for them to bear. Furthermore, it was said that the inheritance of the Heavenly Court was only a portion. It was not complete. The Serene Cloud sect could only give up. However, the other inheritance that the Purple Mansion took out made the eyes of the Serene Cloud sect turn red. What the Purple Mansion took out was the 9 underworld scripture. This was a peerless cultivation method of the cold and dark type. They could not refuse it. The elders of the Serene Cloud sect returned and hurriedly discussed with the sect leader and the others. They finally decided to take out the sect's inheritance, the Serene Cloud art and the Purple Mansion to exchange for the 9 underworld scripture. Although their secret might be leaked out, if they could obtain the 9 underworld scripture, then everything would be worth it. This time several great sages had come. Even the sect leader of the Serene Cloud sect had come personally to prepare for the exchange. After all, they were also afraid that the Purple Mansion would suddenly attack. The people of the Purple Mansion laughed. There was no rush. This exchange would not be carried out secretly. It would be a grand ceremony. The people of the Serene Cloud sect were stupefied. They did not want this matter to spread. However, the people of the Purple Mansion had indeed said that this was very important to them. Of course they would compensate them. They would also give them 2 ancient divine ability cultivation methods. The people of the Serene Cloud sect could only return. They also knew that the Purple Mansion probably wanted to use this exchange to make a name for themselves. This way the other ancient families would definitely be moved. It seemed that they could only make preparations. The sect leader of the Serene Cloud sect brought people back and started to quickly make arrangements. This way, when the time came, there would be no guarantee that someone would attack. He had to bring sufficient manpower and strength. After the Purple Mansion confirmed the exchange with the Serene Cloud sect, they released the news. On the night of the full moon, they would exchange their inheritance with the Serene Cloud sect at the Great Clarity Lake in the Great Clarity Ancient City. When these words were said, everyone went crazy. Especially those ancient families. They did not dare to believe it. Although they had made some exchanges before, of course they were not their core techniques. Now, the Serene Cloud sect was actually going to exchange the Serene Cloud art? For a moment, countless people were shocked. They did not believe it. Some people even thought that the Purple Mansion was lying. When the Purple Mansion said that the contents of the exchange were the Serene Cloud art and the 9 underworld scripture, everyone was stunned. Chapter 47:11. The 9 Nether Scripture was an extremely terrifying inheritance. The Tranquil Cloud sect would definitely not give it up. The other experts were also moved. Quickly, there was still half a month's time. For a time, the Grand Clarity Ancient City was filled with countless people. The ancient families were also moved. They wanted to see how this transaction would turn out. If possible, they also wanted to exchange for other absolute arts. Between heaven and earth, countless war chariots were moving quickly. They brought with them great power, causing the passers-by to be terrified. Which great clan had come here? That was too terrifying. What kind of major event had alarmed such a sect? Could it be because of the Z Mansion? I think it's possible. Many people are heading towards the Grand Clarity Ancient City. These people must be going too. In a war chariot, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. When he heard the conversation of those people, he immediately frowned. With a cold snort, a pair of golden eyes appeared between heaven and earth. The 2 people in the distance were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They wanted to escape. But in an instant, their souls were imprisoned. Senior, please spare our lives. Although the 2 of them were Saint Kings, they were kneeling and begging for mercy. Lin Xian's voice came from the cold eyes. What happened in the Z mansion? Senior doesn't know? The two of them were also surprised. Could it be that these people were not going for the Z mansion? They hurriedly explained the matter and asked carefully, Senior, can you spare our lives? The golden eyes in the sky disappeared. The two of them quickly left. In the war chariot, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Dan Feng, who was beside him, asked, What happened? Could it be that something big had happened in the Grand Clarity Ancient City? Lin Xian said indeed something big had happened. He explained the matter. Dan Feng was stunned. It couldn't be exchanging absolute arts? The Tranquil Cloud sect was really crazy. If it was the real Nine Nether Scripture, the Tranquil Cloud sect's actions were understandable. What do you plan to do? Dan Feng looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Interesting. He originally wanted to attack the Z mansion directly. Now it seemed that he would have to wait. Wait until the night of the full moon. I think that guy will not let go of such a good opportunity. The guy that Lin Xian was talking about was naturally He Shan. He stood up and said stop. Countless war chariots stopped, and the people inside were puzzled. A figure came out and asked, Immortal, what's going on? Lin Xian said that on the night of the full moon, there would be a grand meeting in the Purple Mansion. I want to take a look first, then attack when the time comes. Therefore, when they arrived at Grand Clarity Ancient City, they had to first have everyone hide. Otherwise, the Violet Palace would probably immediately close their doors. An expert of the Gu clan stepped out and smiled. Don't worry about that, Immortal. Our Gu clan's void mystique isn't just for show. We can open up a spatial tunnel and hide in the void. No one else would be able to discover it. When Immortal needs us, we will send a signal. We walked out of the spatial tunnel. Okay. Lin Xia smiled. With the space great sage here, it was indeed convenient. Next, they continued their journey. When they were about to reach Taiching Ancient City, Lin Xian had the Gu family experts open up a spatial tunnel. A huge spatial crack appeared, and the people who had followed Lin Xian all entered the spatial passage. They walked in the Void Palace and waited. Lin Xian brought Dan Feng, Fan Xing, Huolinger, Su Lai, and Gu Li into Taiching Ancient City. After entering, Lin Xian realized that there were even more people here this time around. From the looks of it, the exchange was indeed true. There were still 5 days until the night of the full moon. Dan Feng said, Let's go back to Pill Cauldron Sect first and make a plan. The group returned to Pill Cauldron Sect and told them the plan. Pill Cauldron Sect's master and the 2 Grand Elders also nodded in agreement, indicating that they could support it. If necessary, they would even take action personally. Lin Xian had finished his preparations. Everything was waiting for the night of the full moon. At this moment, Grand Clarity Lake had also changed. The Violet Palace experts used their peerless abilities to open up countless palaces and pavilions, and even formed countless formations. After all, what they were exchanging was a supreme inheritance, and they couldn't allow any mishaps. Fortunately, Grand Clarity Lake was big enough to accommodate anyone who wanted to come and watch. At this moment, in one of the palaces, a woman in purple stood there, looking at Grand Clarity Lake with flickering eyes. There's going to be a grand event here tomorrow, right? It's really surprising. I wonder if I can see the person I want to see? At this moment, a person surrounded by the phantom of a fiend god stepped into the air. He came nearby and said with a smile, the person inside should be Fairy Shen. Shen Jingqiu waved her hand and the void opened. She frowned slightly when she saw a figure. What do you want? She had seen this person in the Violet Palace before. He was one of the successors of the Violet Palace, and it was said that he used to be a saint of a sacred ground. His identity was very terrifying, and his strength was unfathomable. Moreover, the soul in her mind told her that he was very dangerous. Fairy Shen, don't be so cold. Can you let me in? Yao Guang said with a smile. He was like a god that countless people looked up to, and his eyes were filled with confidence. I'm not familiar with you, Shen Jingqiu said indifferently. Yao Guang smiled. I think Fairy Shen's identity and strength must be very strong. That's why I'm here to ask you for advice. A special aura appeared from his body, and it made Shen Jingqiu feel very uncomfortable. The mysterious voice in her mind said, Qiu, be careful. He wants to attack you. Shen Jingqiu felt a trace of killing intent, but it disappeared quickly. She snorted coldly. You want to spar? I'll keep you company. A blurry figure appeared behind her, and it brought with it a monstrous power. The two of them looked like they were going to fight. However, at this moment, a figure flew over from afar. He smiled and said, Fairy Shen, I'm here uninvited. Am I disturbing you? Hearing this voice, Shen Jingqiu looked up. On the other side, Yao Guang retracted his killing intent, and he smiled confidently again, but his eyes were cold. Qin Xianer flew over like a fairy. When she came near, she looked at Yao Guang in confusion. So you're here too? You know each other? Or do you have something to do? Yao Guang said indifferently. My matter is over. With that he turned and left. When the other party's aura disappeared completely, Qin Xianer heaved a sigh of relief. She looked at Shen Jingqiu and said, Be careful. That guy seems to have cultivated a taboo martial art, and he wants to devour the strength of others. Shen Jingqiu's pupils shrank. Could it be the demonic heaven-devouring skill? Qin Xianer sighed. What is it exactly? I don't know either, but I know that he needs other people's corpses. Or people with strong energy. Chapter 47:12. Qin Xianer replied, I don't know. But if you meet him, please tell him not to go against the Purple Mansion. The Purple Mansion's foundation was beyond his imagination. I will. Qin Xianer then left. Shen Jingqiu's eyes flickered. The Purple Mansion? It was getting more and more interesting. The next day when the sun rose, everyone was excited. That was because there was going to be an important banquet tonight. During the day many people had already arrived. Even those from the remote antiquity families and great sects had come. There were also some who had come from other cities specifically for today's event. When night fell and the moon rose, everyone was excited. The Tai Ching Lake reflected the moonlight, exuding a mysterious aura. There were many spirit boats around the Tai Ching Lake, and many people were standing on them. In fact, there were even people flickering in the surrounding palaces. There was a storm between the heavens and the earth. The people from the Wind Clan arrived at an ancient building. On the other side, light flickered. The people of the Light Clan had arrived. The light was also there. In addition, the Holy Heavens Clan, the Golden Crow Clan, and some other powerful sects had arrived. These people landed in the palaces around the lake. Everyone was discussing. Why wasn't he here yet? At that moment, a figure stepped through the air, bringing with him a sky full of gods and demons. Every step he took was accompanied by a grand Tao. The people from the Purple Mansion had arrived. They all turned their heads to look. In the crowd, Lin Xian and the others' eyes flickered. Is he here? They were sitting on a small boat in the Tai Ching Lake. The spirit boat shone brightly and no one knew it was them. At that moment, Lin Xian's eyes lit up as he stared at the figure in front of him. Light-shaking realm. That's right, it was him. After the light-shaking realm cultivator, more and more people arrived. Some were like immortals, some were like fairies. There were 9 people in total, and they were the 9 successors of the Purple Mansion. Previously, Lin Xian suppressed Ruoshi. Now it seemed that someone had replaced her. The 9 successors of the Purple Mansion stood there like 9 gods. Countless people looked up to them. Every successor was a top-notch heaven's pride. Some people were discussing. These people were really strong. They wondered how they would fare against Yi Wudao and Guang Ming. Are you talking about the 2 ancient desolate bodies? I think it should be about the same. After all, there were many secret techniques in the Violet Palace realm. There were also people who said that no matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be a match for Lin Xian. Many people felt their scalps go numb at the mention of this name. It couldn't be helped. That young man was simply too powerful. He had probably surpassed everything. Even a descendant of the Purple Mansion sect couldn't compete with him. Yu Fian seemed to have heard everyone's discussion. Yu Fian coldly said, No one can challenge our Z Mansion. The person you all are talking about doesn't even dare to come today. There is nothing to boast about. That's right. If he dares to come, I'll personally suppress him. It was a man who was clad in battle armor. He looked mighty and extraordinary. He was the substitute Ruoshi's successor. At this moment he desperately needed a battle to make his name known to the world. Inside the spirit boat, when Huolinger and the others heard this, they snorted coldly. They didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, and they even wanted to fight a mortal. I don't think he can even defeat us. Zulai sneered. Don't bother with them. They're just a bunch of ants. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. There was no hurry. There would be a big gift for them later. Not long after, the people of the Serene Cloud sect arrived. They drove a black chariot and descended from the sky like a black cloud. Everyone exclaimed. There were so many people. There were several great sage. There was even a man who looked like a demon from hell. He was the sect master of the Serene Cloud sect. The sect master of the Serene Cloud sect had personally come. One could imagine how much importance the Serene Cloud sect placed on this exchange. The elders of the Serene Cloud sect frowned when they saw that the Violet Palace sect had only sent 9 successors. Could it be that they wanted these youngsters to exchange with them? What a joke. They were too relaxed for such an important matter. Seniors of the Serene Cloud sect, don't be impatient. Soon the elders of the Violet Palace sect will arrive. After a while, purple clouds filled the air. The true experts of the Violet Palace sect had arrived. There were 5 great sage. Apart from them there was another woman. She wore a phoenix robe and sat on a divine chariot. There were 6 dragons pulling the chariot. Each of the 6 dragons had reached the Saint King realm. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws. Such a magnificent scene indicated that this person's identity was not ordinary. She was Elder Wutong of the Violet Palace sect. Her status was very high. This time she was the one who presided over the exchange. The 6 dragons stopped in the air. Wutong opened her eyes and looked at the people of the Serene Cloud sect. She then stood up and smiled. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? You should have brought that item as well, right? The sect master of the Serene Cloud sect said. Elder Wutong's lips curled into a smile. Since that was the case, then let's begin. Everyone was shocked. They did not expect both sides to be so decisive. There was no politeness at all. They directly carried out the most important matter. Everyone became nervous. Did they know what kind of scene it would be? But at that moment, a voice resounded through the 9 heavens. Wait. The voice was like thunder that resounded between heaven and earth. Countless people were shocked. Who was it that dared to behave so atrociously at this time? Did they not want to live anymore? Countless gazes looked over. The people of the Serene Cloud sect coldly snorted. Monstrous killing intent condensed. The 9 great successors of the Violet Palace sect also walked out one by one. Their auras erupted. The voice was faintly discernible. No one could tell where it came from. It resounded between heaven and earth. They had long heard that the Violet Palace sect was all-encompassing and had countless supreme techniques. They did not know if it was true or false. Why not show the Violet Palace sect? Everyone was shocked. Was someone questioning the Violet Palace sect? But at the same time they were also very good. It was indeed so. Did the Violet Palace sect really have so many supreme techniques? They were actually questioning them? The elders of the Violet Palace sect sneered. Wudong looked at the 9 great successors. One of them walked out and snorted. What, you want to experience the supreme techniques of the Violet Palace sect? Come out, I'll send you to hell. This person was called Lun Yan. He was one of the successors that replaced Ruoshi. He felt that this was a good opportunity, so he immediately walked out. The others were also discussing, but they did not rush forward. Lun Yan sneered. Cowardly thing. Since you don't dare, don't be arrogant here. Get lost. Inside the spirit boat, Su Lai Huolinger and the others gritted their teeth. Damn it, I'll fight. They were ready to attack. Lin Xian smiled. You guys go out too. They know it's me. I have my own ways. As he spoke, he struck out a dragon-shaped sword chi. Then it formed a sword chi silhouette. His figure flashed and soared into the sky. Lin Xian controlled the great dragon sword spirit. It was easy for him to display all kinds of supreme techniques and laws. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.